$3.3 billion. It shows you where our society is right now, because the extremes right now with people struggling literally to make ends meet, and you have over 400 people that have a net worth of at least $3.3 million.
Crazy.
Here are two poor billionaires that didn't make the list. Oprah Winfrey, estimated net worth $3 billion, was not one of the top 400 wealthiest people in America. Kim Kardashian, $1.7 billion, not there. Taylor Swift, $1.3 billion, not there. Magic Johnson, $1.2 billion, not there.
Wow.
And Schwarzenegger is worth $1 billion now, not there.
Wow. They
That's
don't
hard to
make the
believe
top 400?
Yeah.
I mean, if you had said Oprah Winfrey, top 400 richest Americans, you
Has to be.
easy.
Has
top
to be.
400? She's top 100. Nope.
Yeah, Oprah may be the most surprising one of them all. Followed
She's
by Taylor and
printed
Magic with all of Magic's business dealings.
Oprah's printed money and never been married, I don't think. So there's no divorce or anything.
That's crazy. And that's Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, if you are looking for advice on buying your first home or your final home, whether you need a big down payment or 100% financing, our friends at Mortgage Right can lead you in the right direction. 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com/TNR.
And, of course, our friends at NASCAR, still time to get tickets all the way through the race weekend at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Check our social media out. We got some pretty cool content over the next couple of days as Brown and I compete in some weird games over at the track yesterday. You can see that at Next Round Live, Get those tickets right now. And don't forget the rodeo on Friday, the Jake Owen concert on Saturday, and playoff races on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the Yellowwood 500, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Forrester, if you can, is there a bracketology you have from someone? I know it's hard to find these sometimes, but every week people kick out bracketology, and this is from Andy Staples on 3. All of a sudden, that graphic we saw all summer that didn't change a whole lot changed a lot. There's Alabama in the 1 hole with a bye. Ohio State hanging in the 2 hole. Clemson is now the logo in the 3 hole out of the ACC. And look who's in the 4 hole out of the Big 12.
And so you got to put in there, them or Iowa State, some people had in there.
Yeah,
recently.
that would be pretty incredible.
Yeah.
BYU is there. Now, Georgia falls a little bit to a 7 seed right now. Texas is the 5 with UNLV. Tennessee's a 6 with Kansas State at 11. Georgia's a 7 with a 10 seed Miami. And Oregon right now at 8 with a conference game against Penn State in round 1. Go ahead.
I was going to say, how much would you like Alabama's draw right here? If you were Alabama and you've got the 8-9 winner of Oregon, Penn State, you've got Brigham Young in the other part of the bracket, Texas, UNLV, that's a heck of a draw right there.
Yeah, to get you that championship game. And if you'll notice, the first 4 out has Missouri, Arizona, Utah, and Notre Dame. Is there a logo that's missing there all of a sudden for you guys?
Ole Miss.
It is Ole Miss.
Yep, not in there.
The scripted Ole Miss
Boy, I
is
feel in a hurry.
1 loss, and there are people doubting them. And then the group of 5 contenders outside of UNLV, there's Army, there's Navy. And I remember us all saying, well, Army and Navy, we don't care if they play the Army-Navy game after Selection Sunday.
What's it matter?
Because they'll never factor in.
I know.
Oh, contraire, Mofware. They're right there.
Forever.
That was close.
Yeah.
So that's the college football bracketology. It looks so different after just 1 weekend, and it will change a lot from this point on. That's our show today. Don't forget, a Bama and Bourbon drops a little bit later on today after LT and Aaron knock it out here in a second on the recording. Constant coverage at covercrimson.com, covercrimson.com, and they're talking about Deuce Knight's recruitment over at thebarnauburn.com, thebarnauburn.com. Go check those out and subscribe right now. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, here we go now, live on a Thursday morning. Football back tonight. It's with some sadness I say this, but with some excitement, because you got to get to a certain point in the season. I'm trying not to say the phrase that I've always said.
It's not halfway.
But you have to get to a certain point of the season for me to say this. But it is exciting. Starting tonight, it's the first of 55 straight days of football. There's a football game every day for 55 straight days starting today.
I don't mind you positioning it that way.
We'll take that.
I'll live with that.
Yeah. I mean, I
take it. We've got a lot of MAC we're going to roll into.
MAC and Sunbelt coming up very soon. Little CUSA action.
That's right. Jack State's got a couple Wednesday games coming up.
That's right. So we get to the Tuesday, Wednesday action that gets you back to the Thursdays that we're used to. But 55 straight days of football. That means Halloween's around the corner, Thanksgiving, Christmas, you know the drill. But LTD&B, Tyler and Forrester, Taylor, Korn, and EG all with you today here on the Next Round. Show number 799 today.
What's that mean? Tomorrow's 800.
Tomorrow is 800.
What are we going to do?
We probably will celebrate with a pizza party up here. Usually the pizza party happens when we're on the road.
Not this time.
But can we do it tomorrow? I mean, it's up to Tyler and Forrester. Guys, you guys are in charge of the pizza parties. Can we do a pizza party tomorrow?
I mean, it kind of goes against the rules, but I'm down.
Yeah, if you're going to break a rule, show 800 is the time you do it, I would say.
Show 800, some ratings, numbers that we're proud of. So we'll do that tomorrow up here and celebrate inside the building. And Auburn fans are celebrating. Let's jump into what they were celebrating last night. Little T texted me about 6:07 and says, hey, at the bottom of the hour at 6:30, Deuce Knight is flipping. The quarterback that Hugh Freeze has been personally recruiting. Now, you know that if you are the lead recruiter and you're the head coach on somebody, he's somebody you really, 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 really want, right? Usually the lead recruiter is a coordinator, an assistant. Rarely is it the head coach. Deuce Knight from the state of Mississippi had committed to Notre Dame, had been a Marcus Freeman commitment, but the guy's been to Auburn. I think he's been to 4 of the 5 Auburn games this year, if I'm right, down at Jordan-Hare Stadium. It was not a surprise that he ended up flipping. But Hugh Freeze beats out Ole Miss, whose lead recruiter happened to be Lane Kiffin. Lane wanted him so bad that Lane was also personally recruiting this guy. So the flip from Notre Dame for Deuce Knight. And it comes at a time when Auburn fans were looking for anything positive to celebrate here.
Well, I do think it deflects a little of the negativity going on with the 2 and 3 starts. And whether or not this guy stays committed to Auburn, we shall see. Again, you never know. He's already flipped one time. But it looks to be a big get on the surface. Auburn fans would love for him to maybe start Saturday against Georgia because you kind of know what you're getting now with Peyton Thorne or Hank Brown.
What are you doing this weekend?
Your point would be to start looking to the future. I see what you're saying.
One of my buddies texted me, what do you think we paid for him? And I was like, well, if you get him, it's going to be 7 figures. I don't know what 7 figures it's going to be, but it's going to be 7 figures.
I mean, if he's good, it's well worth it. That's always going to be the gamble in recruiting, but, it doesn't change. It's the gamble in the NFL, too. People will talk about, how inefficient paying for college football quarterbacks is. It's inefficient paying for NFL quarterbacks. You never know if they're going to work. We see it all the time.
And look, we don't have the answers here, but if you had to, of those 3, when you were talking about Kiffin has become the lead recruiter, Marcus Freeman, now Hugh Freeze, when you look at the collectives of Notre Dame, Auburn, and Ole Miss, how do you think it stacks up? You think it's pretty close?
Well, I mean, Kiffin thinks his is good because he was taking a shot at Hugh Freeze coming to try to hire his guy that runs it, right?
And Hugh Freeze said Ole Miss is doing really well.
That's right. And Kiffin must think so because he's like, well, Hugh will probably try to come hire. What's the old boy's name? Walker Jones, I think? Something like that.
Some country music.
Yeah, it does sound like a country music singer.
Well, when we were at the On3 event in Nashville, I remember talking to some parents, and I told you guys, they said the 2 most impressive recruiters they had dealt with were Marcus Freeman and James Franklin. And there is a reason that James Franklin does hover around 10 wins. He's got talent.
Oh, yeah.
But, I thought it was interesting that Marcus Freeman was a guy they said just blows everyone away when he hits the living room, which I'm really not surprised.
Yeah, he's a nice-looking, seemingly, outgoing guy.
Yeah.
I think he probably handles himself very well in this situation.
And we know Hugh can talk.
Oh, yeah.
Did he just go nice looking?
Yeah, Marcus Freeman's a nice-looking guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I'm just very firm in my heterosexuality. I can say that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're stacking it, I feel very, very secure as well saying that Hugh would be below Marcus
in the looks department
to entertain the women. Yeah.
Okay, I want honest response from you guys behind the glass.
Okay.
Honest response. If I had said that first on this show, would you guys not have gone ape crap saying, Jim's making it awkward again?
No, but you would have said it
I
awkwardly.
wouldn't have.
I
can't speak for anybody else.
Scott.
100%.
I mean, when I say things like
this,
that,
you
it's
would have
relentless.
You would have said, when I watch a Notre Dame game, I'll tell you this about Marcus Freeman. Not only is he a good-looking guy, but he's got one of those athlete builds.
Yeah, you could tell he played. Look at his body.
Yeah, like if I look like Marcus Freeman, I'd coach with my shirt off.
You're making it sound like I would have complimented his eyelashes.
Yeah, I think you would have at some point. Look at his skin tones and those beautiful eyes. I mean, that guy could coach some football.
But back to the subject at hand. That's Deuce night to Auburn. If you are not
never even seen a snap. I mean, have you guys watched any film?
No, have you done away?
I have. I did last night because I did a hit with Taylor, so I jumped on some tape on YouTube so I could talk about it.
You broke it down?
So 6'4.5". He's a guy that runs the ball really well, and according to the people over in Mississippi that cover high school, I was able to DM with them a couple of notes before I jumped on with Taylor last night at thebarnauburn.com. He's a guy who is trying to mature at staying in the pocket and throwing the football. So what you have here is a 6'4.5" big left-hander who is a great runner who's learning to stay in the pocket more. So a little bit of a project here, but he is rated by some as a 5-star, 4-star by others, but he's a top 50 kind of guy. And he's got the Auburn recruiting class now at 24/7 Sports to number 3 in the country. That's number 3 in the country. It's Ohio State, it's Alabama, and it's Auburn. You see the graphic right there, LT. And that's another reason why you got to, if you're anti-Hugh Freeze, you got to look at that right now and say, okay, maybe I need to bite my tongue a little bit.
Yeah, but this to me, Brown, it's way back on the priorities. And ultimately, look, you got to have these guys to win games, but it's year 2, and year 2 has been a disaster. So this is a positive if you can keep him. But if I'm an Auburn fan, I'm still extremely pissed off how this first month of September has unfolded.
Follow me here. Is this Hugh Freeze's Brody Croyle, Julio Jones, Ryan Williams? So let me put that in context.
There's no way.
Hang on. No, just let me put this in context. When Mike Price first got the job at Alabama, Mike Price was an outsider, and everybody's like, what could he do? What could he do? What could he do? And his first visit was Brody Croyle.
Right.
A legacy guy at Alabama, one of the top quarterbacks in the nation, and he's like, I got to sign a big-time recruit so people believe I can do this. And he goes and he gets him to commit, right? First visit. When Nick Saban got the job at Alabama, one of his first visits, his first big recruit was Julio Jones. When Kalen DeBoer got the job at Alabama, he was like, I got to make Ryan Williams a priority. We see why now, right? My point in asking that is Hugh Freeze is on year 2 of this job. But what is the most glaring issue for Hugh Freeze right now?
Well, it's quarterback. I think Cam Coleman is the guy you were in the conversation you're talking about last year was the guy that they had to get.
That's right. But I'm just saying, if you're an Auburn fan right now, you're like, if you still support Hugh Freeze, and some don't, right? I get that. But if you still support Hugh Freeze, Lance, you're like, I support him, but he has got to fix quarterback. I don't know if this does or not. I have no earthly idea.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're relying on a kid from small town Mississippi to be your savior, and Hugh's going to need it next year. If this thing unfolds like it possibly could, and they go 3-9 or 4-8, he has to win next year, or Auburn's going to have another massive buyout.
Where does small town Mississippi come into this? I mean, Brett Favre was from small town Mississippi. Steve McNair was from small town Mississippi.
What was the knock on Arch Manning? Like the competition he played against? Like, I really don't know. Look, I'd never heard of this Deuce guy until last week.
Yeah, level of competition has been the knock knock on Arch Manning because
I
he
bet
plays
there's
at a
a
small
narc in
private
that
school.
town.
Could be a narc in that town.
Yeah.
He plays at a small private school. That was the knock. I mean, we've seen Arch now play in the SEC, so you get a better idea of what he is or isn't.
Yeah.
We won't know until this kid plays. I mean, like,
Do you think this guy ever wins 8 games as a starting quarterback?
I don't know about that. I was going to point out that Walker White was everyone's excitement level last year. In the
I was
recruiting
about to
drive.
ask that.
Can't even get on the field.
Hank Brown now, he could be, from, the Lipscomb Academy or wherever.
but nobody's
up there.
giving up on Walker White, are they?
I don't think so.
I mean,
Are they giving up on Hank Brown?
Well, we've seen Hank Brown in SEC, or not in SEC play, but playing
Boy,
for an
we
SEC
are
about one
team.
game.
quick to flush it, aren't we?
Yeah, you can't
you
really
got
do
a
it.
half, you're done.
I mean, well, I guess we have seen him in SEC play. It was one half.
I think it's sad that you are into year 2, and this is what is the positive about the season.
Yeah.
Well, the whole recruiting class, like last year, is pretty good when you got number 3 in the country right there.
I just don't know if Hughes is going to be around to coach him.
Yeah.
Oh, to coach Deuce Knight next year?
Oh, next year, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking
But
about
you
this
mean
whole class,
this
like
whole
when
class, yeah.
when they really develop it, and if it is a top 5 class, and in 3-4 years we're talking about, the class of 2025 and what Auburn did on the trail. Is he going to be the head coach at that point? I don't know.
We'll talk a little bit more portal quarterbacks in just a second. The show being brought to you today by our friends at Odie's, where these guys were at trivia last night. What was the question?
The question was, what came first, Sting, the singer, or Cinderella, the animated film from Walt Disney?
And as I pointed out, Cinderella never ages and Sting does, so this makes this question much more difficult.
Oh,
Sting ages pretty well, though.
Yeah, he does.
But the Cinderella I guess I think of Disney way back with Mickey Mouse and black and white cartoons or whatever they were. Where
Steamboat Willie.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Driving that big old
So Cinderella obviously came after that, but
Yeah.
you mean that are you trying to tell me the kids of the 50s didn't have Cinderella? I'm going to go Cinderella's older.
Okay, so Sting, we talked about it on the show yesterday, 73, was born in 51. Cinderella made its theatrical debut in 1950. So Cinderella did come
Which
first.
she has held up well.
Yeah,
Yes,
1950s.
Feet hadn't grown either.
No,
women's feet
that-
usually get a little bigger.
That's right, same shoes.
The older they get or when they get pregnant, whatever that is. Odie's Tavern, 2 locations for you. The one we go to every Wednesday for Odie's Team Trivia. That one in Crestline, the newest location in Edgewood. Make sure you stop in for great food from Rodney Davis for over 35 years now. Award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light, live music every Friday and Saturday night. Brown and I watched the Braves season get ended last night at Odie's, but a great place to watch all of your sporting action. 1 or 2 locations. Get in, see Will Avery and that great staff at Odie's Tavern.
Baseball in a second. NASCAR coming, by the way, this weekend at Talladega. You can get out, camp right now. Already campers out there. They've been there all week. Some free camping out there. You can get into the infield and camp out on the boulevard. Enjoy the Jake Owen concert coming up Saturday night. The rodeo is on Friday. Playoff racing every day. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. 877-GO-TO-DEGA. And you can have all the fun there with the fine folks of NASCAR in Talladega this weekend with the Yellowwood 500 weekend. If you go to our social media, you can see one of our competitions that Brownie and I did, another one dropping later today. We had some fun out at the track earlier this
Brownie
week.
and Dunaway
back to the
back here at the
quarterback
Talladega.
conversation. I pulled up some numbers. Oh, were you gonna show it there?
Oh, what? Oh, we got it.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't even know we had it. I didn't even send it to you. Sure, let's see it.
Oh, wow.
This
So,
is,
Lance, you're going to love this.
We're throwing from the upper deck at Talladega, and we're trying to land it in the flag stand on the track. And we were warned, let's try not to throw it onto the track, they said, which makes the throw a little bit more difficult because if you miss it long, where is it?
Fence is open around the flag stand, so if you miss it long,
What
it
was
is in the track.
the potential problem with landing on the track?
Well, we just have to go get it, and you can't access the track from where we were. We'd have to drive all the way through the tunnel back up onto the track.
So you see the little box down there, the flag stand. So we're going to have 2 shots each, 4
That's right.
shots into the flag stand. Brownie goes first here.
Yeah, no, this is not going to be a great throw, Lance. You're going to be a little underwhelmed.
It's a little
Big
windy.
drop,
Actually
little
hits the
wind.
front row.
What kind of ball is it?
It's just a mini football. And here's Dunaway. Boom, first shot.
Wow.
And it was a gorgeous throw. I got to give my boy credit.
Yeah.
Now,
You know what I called myself?
what's that?
Jim Perfect at that point. Remember Dude Perfect?
He did call himself Jim Perfect.
Jim Perfect.
As-
Trick throws.
As someone said on social media, how can this guy go 1 of 23 on the floor at Auburn and make that with his first shot?
1 of 28. 1 of 28.
Don't get that wrong.
Let's get the stats
1
right.
of 28 on Neville Arena's floor, and he makes that one with his first shot.
Roman Harper coming up with us at 9:30. So back to the quarterback conversation. For those that, why are we waiting till next year? Why didn't we get one of these portal guys? A lot of teams didn't get a portal guy. Success or whatever. Miami's Cam Ward is the most successful. They're number 8 in the country. They play at California this weekend. 18 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, over 1,700 yards passing right now. Kyle McCord was a portal guy, a little over 1,400 yards passing, 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, pretty good there. Eli Holstein from Alabama to Pitt, right at 1,200 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Brandon Sorsby at Cincinnati, Tyler Shuck quarterbacking as well. Those are the 5 top portal quarterbacks. Would Auburn, other than Cam Ward, which is the obvious, would Auburn be different if they had Kyle McCord, Eli Holstein, Brandon Sorsby, or Tyler Shuck?
I would think so. Yeah. I mean, some of those programs aren't as good right now. I mean, I don't know. Syracuse, Auburn, if they played, I think Auburn wins the game.
You would have gotten excited about Kyle McCord, right?
Oh, yeah.
Would you have gotten excited?
I mean, he was a starting quarterback for Ohio State winning 11 games.
That's an easy one, though. But if I told you Eli Holstein, you'd have been like,
perceived to be the third guy in Tuscaloosa, right?
Right.
That would have been very different there,
I mean, I don't think you get fired up about Eli Holstein if you're an Auburn fan. Like, hey, we're in the portal. We got Eli Holstein. You wouldn't have been like, okay, let's fit the rings right now, guys. We got Eli Holstein. That's not going to excite you. And that's the whole thing about the portal.
Well, I would say 8 of the 25 teams ranked right now have portal quarterbacks.
Read them off to me and tell me the ones. Be genuine and tell me the ones you would have gotten excited about.
Some have been there for a couple of years, but they're still technically portal.
Genuinely tell me.
Will Howard. Will Howard, I don't know how different it would be at Auburn.
Yeah.
I mean, Will Howard has a ton of skill around him.
But if you would have told Auburn fans we went and got Will Howard.
He's better than what you have.
Yeah, but if you'd have told him that at the time, they'd have been like,
he came from Kansas State.
Okay.
Dylan Gabriel.
Wouldn't have gone to Auburn.
No, but you'd have been thrilled to get him. This is my point.
Yeah.
I'm just playing the whole point.
Dylan Gabriel, you would have loved it.
You would have said, we have hit a home run here.
Cam Ward.
You would have hit a home run there. You'd have been thrilled.
Jackson Dart has been a couple of years now at Ole Miss.
But, coming out of USC, you didn't know what Jackson Dart was.
I thought he was good. I didn't know he would be maybe as good. This is kind of like his ceiling, I think.
But Lane has developed Jackson Dart.
I know
coming off a weekend where they lost 20-17. So
and it was not his best game.
I know you're not a fan of this guy, but I thought it made sense, and it's one of the guys I brought up in the portal was Riley Leonard. Now, don't think he would have gone to Auburn over Notre Dame, but
I think you actually would have been somewhat excited to get Riley Leonard. I don't know how much different it is. I mean, he doesn't turn the ball over a ton, but he's not amazing either.
No, but
you probably are. He's
a better. I mean, Peyton Thorne's an underrated runner, but Riley Leonard is a better running quarterback.
I would say Riley Leonard has you 4-1 worst case scenario.
Tyler Shuck.
I don't think you would have been fired up about getting Tyler Shuck.
Curtis Rourke.
Nobody even knows who Curtis Rourke is.
Very good player.
Quarterback at Indiana, right?
Luke Altmaier, yeah.
You wouldn't have been excited about getting Luke Altmaier. They saw him play at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's my whole point is like all these guys that have a team in the top 25 coming out of the portal, as a fan, you would not have been super excited about those guys.
Our friends at Michelson gives us our look at baseball last night when the Braves season ended, but it was a lot more going on in the field than just the Braves, who gave it a gutsy effort. Michelson Laser Vision gets us into that look back.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. Make the phone call that I made. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. I got the procedure done over 2 decades ago. I've got 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call. Stop procrastinating. Schedule the consultation today. Ask about the pre-inflation pricing. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, MichelsonLaserVision.com.
And the folks at the Pan Store, you're heading to Nashville to roll with the Tide this weekend, or between the hedges in Athens with your Tigers. You want to look great, you can do it with the Pan Store, panstore.com, panstore.com, wherever you're watching the show today. You can order from there, or you can go by the locations, 2 of them in Birmingham, 1 in Huntsville, 1 in Tuscaloosa, 1 in Auburn, and, of course, the OG right there in Leeds. The game day headquarters that gives you your Auburn and Alabama polos and hats and quarter zips from the name brands like Gentile, Antigua, Cutter Buck, and Horn Legend. It's all right there. And for the ladies, they got the best footwear, including the Western boots, the rompers, the dresses with free alteration. And now with the holidays rolling around, free gift wrapping as well. Nothing says Roll Tide and War Eagle like the Pants Store. Braves, man, they gave it a gutsy effort. The Michael Harris home run. It just all went to that crazy second inning where so many infield hits with 2 outs, and all the Padres runs came with 2 outs. and that hole happened in the second inning. The Braves couldn't dig their way out of it.
Yeah, very strange. And unfortunately, as you heard Buster Olney, that's probably the last time you will see Max Fried in a Braves uniform, and just a terrible outing. Look, I know it wasn't like he got wasn't like they were hitting the ball on the button last night. It was a lot of infield singles, but
the one that hit him on the hip was hit on the button.
Yeah, that's true. Ultimately, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, and 2 innings pitched. And yeah, they got behind the 8 ball early. That crowd was great, by the way.
Yeah,
that was the largest in Petco history. And on the other side, Musgrove. This is something to look. As you go into the NLDS with the Dodgers and the Padres, Musgrove leaving that game with the injury, what's his status?
Third time in the last 5 years it'll be the Padres and Dodgers in the postseason. The other National League game, we get a Game 3 tonight, the only Game 3, 6 o'clock on ESPN, Mets and Brewers there. That was an exciting comeback for Milwaukee last night. Kansas City and Baltimore having a little internet war. Baltimore, the home team here. Before the series, there was a social media post by the Orioles official site that had the Orioles sitting in a throne, seats taken. The Royals can't sit on their throne because the seat's taken by an Oriole.
Uh-oh. That was probably not smart.
Series ends, Royals beat the Orioles, so there's a Royal sitting there with feathers flying everywhere. Series taken, says Kansas City.
Man, it's crazy. This is a team that lost 106 games last year.
So there's hope for the White Sox.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe in 2 or 3 years. But for them to win their first postseason series in a decade, they got a good draw with Baltimore because Baltimore's kind of limped down the stretch. But Bobby Witt Jr., second consecutive game-winning RBI. And, this Kansas City team's playing loose. I don't know what the expectation is taking on New York now, but it's baseball. You never know.
But the most amazing team of all is the Tigers, who finished the sweep last night of the Astros. This team, and I don't expect most of you to pay attention because they were 55-63 on August the 11th. They had a less than 1% chance of making the playoffs at that point. Their entire roster is $18.8 million for 2024. That is $6.2 million less than they paid Javier Baez last year on their own team. So just one guy made $6.2 million than their entire roster last year on the team.
I told you watching Game 1, I was like, damn, I haven't even heard of half these people. And Andy Ibanez was your hero last night. And Josh Hader, when he pitched for the Milwaukee Brewers as a closer, was unhittable. And he comes in the 8th, the bases are loaded, 2 outs. Ibanez is a guy that has hit 175 over the last 2 months, lines a 3-run double, ultimately wins the game for the Tigers. Now the Tigers, much like Kansas City, very loose, playing the Guardians, where the Guardians won the series, season series 7-6. And when you've got a guy like Skubal, and I don't know, I'm not going to pretend to know what he does on short rest, if he pitches ever on 3 days rest, but if you could pitch him in a 7-game series 3 times.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, you got a fighting shot.
Yeah. I don't like using starters out of the bullpen. It seems like that blows up on you a lot. But you wonder if they will try that with him, right?
That's what I really like. They got a couple of days. They got a day off here now, so they can work their way back to getting right on the pitching staff. But that's what I love about a 7-game series, especially when you get to the championship series or the World Series, when you have a starter that pitches 2 games and then in the deciding Game 7. He's out in the bullpen, and is he going to pitch 2 innings? Is he going to 4 innings? Can they bring him in the 5th? Can he make it to the end? Those are some of the exciting parts of postseason baseball to me.
They are, and you start to look now in the National League, half your field, San Diego and LA, you don't have to worry about weather. But I think a lot of these situations, a lot of these managers are like, I want an absolute washout where you get another day to get these starters lined up.
Can I just say, I'm not sure this is the best way to do the postseason, though. It just feels weird that you play 162 games and then 2 straight losses and it's all over. And I know there was a time where it was only 1 game. I get that.
Or even the worst for the Brewers had the better season. Now the Mets are the better team right now, but now you've got to go to New York for Game 3.
No,
it's all in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
That is the one thing you at least do get to earn something. You get to earn the 3 home games.
Because that would suck if you split 1 and 2, and then you've got to go on the road for 3.
Yeah. No, you get it at home tonight, and I would say this about the Braves, overcoming all that. I know Fried is off, but the way they run their front office, that franchise isn't going anywhere, and hopefully they have a more healthier season next year. But season ends last night, but they made it to the playoffs. Pretty crazy run there. One game 3 happening tonight. By the way, you're speaking of home field advantage. Doesn't really matter in the wild card. 11 of those series have now been finished. This is the third year we've done it like that.
Yeah.
Road team has won 7 of the 11, and if the Mets win tonight, that'll be 8 of the 12 road teams winning this opening wild card series. So to your point, getting to the playoffs, and then after that, it's sort of a roll.
It
of
really
the dice.
is. I mean, it's teams just flip a switch, man. They're different teams.
Used to be a best of 5. Now it's a best of 3, and then you move on to the next round. And
Well, there was a time where it was the one game to get into the best of 5 and all that. I don't know what the right system is. This just felt kind of weird that the Braves play all those games, lose 2, they're done.
Yeah, what was the
Orioles
year
win all
where-
those games, lose 2, they're done.
Didn't the Braves have a one-game playing against the Cardinals, and it was on an infield fly?
Oh, yeah.
That was about a decade ago, maybe.
Yeah, they've littered
Trash
the field.
was all over the field.
Littered
Yeah.
the field.
our show today being brought to you by our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. We'll talk to Roman Harper, Dan Orlovsky on the show. Thanks to those folks. And also by our friends at A-Plus Remodeling, Brownie. They have changed the way you guys live your lives in a kitchen or a bathroom.
That is right. They can do the same for you. Master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. Those are important rooms in your house. Think of how often you're in those 3 rooms. And now think about you're ready to sell your home, and those rooms are really going to pop. You're going to love them while you live there. If you want to sell your home, they're going to pop. That's what Brad Bell specializes in. I saw his crew out yesterday. They're working at my neighbor across the street because he saw what they did in my house, and he's like, man, that's who we need. Brad redid the master bath in the Brown home, and my wife found him by scouring the internet, reading reviews, talking to contractors, people that use certain contractors. She selected Brad. He did such good work. Lance saw it, and he's like, man, I'd like him to do my master bath. He liked his master bath so much, he got him to do his kitchen. Brad can do the same for you. Anywhere that, well, I was going to say anywhere in Alabama, but I'm just going to be honest with you. He is doing such good work. He's trying to focus right here on, maybe the central Alabama area. 205-422-1758. He doesn't want to get spread too thin. 205-422-1758. But give him a call either way. Brad Bell, A-Plus Tile Home Remodeling, 205-422-1758.
One of the absolute most important things is a really good night's sleep. And if you're having problems with this, maybe you've got sleep apnea, you need to go see our friends at CPAP Plus. If you're looking for the best CPAP gear with personal service you can trust, visit CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, Trustful. Go see the O'Neill brothers. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. They've got something special for new customers. Get a $20 credit towards the purchase of a new mask system, CPAP cleaner, or even a travel CPAP machine. Stop by today, CPAP Plus. You can also Google CPAP Plus, where you're going to find the best service and equipment all in stock ready for you with hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. Trust CPAP Plus for all of your CPAP needs. CPAP Plus, where every night matters.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trustville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today. Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Back with you on The Next Round. Roman Harper joins us in a second. Did Roman ever have a Daniel A. Moore painting? Was he?
Oh, yeah.
That hit on the
Rocky Stop.
Rocky Stop.
Rocky Stop, yeah. Roman will be here in a second. Daniel A. Moore has got a lot of great paintings throughout Alabama history, but right now he's celebrating Nick Saban's time in Tuscaloosa. The legend is Daniel Moore's tribute to Coach Nick Saban and his 6 national championships on the capstone. You can pre-order right now at danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com. And there are some Saban autograph prints available. Coach Saban agreed to sign a limited number of the prints. A portion of those proceeds of the autograph prints going to help out Nick's Kids, that Nick's Kid Foundation. But those autograph prints are always the first to go. So go now to danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com. And don't forget, you can celebrate with a different price point, a great holiday gift. The 2025 calendar is available, celebrating Coach Saban's time in Alabama, the perfect gift for the Tide fan in your life. And you can save 20% on the calendar by using the promo code TNR. TNR, all that right there at danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com.
All right, we love talking SEC football with our guy Roman Harper. You see him on the SEC Network. You see him on ESPN on Saturdays. He is with us every single Thursday at this time, presented by MyBookie.ag. Code Next Round. When you sign on at MyBookie.ag, they'll double that initial deposit. You can play with that money right away. MyBookie.ag, code Next Round. What is up, Harp? How are you today?
What's up, guys? How are you guys doing, man? How you? I'm living well, man. I can't complain.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
I just finished getting a haircut too, man. So you guys normally catch me in the barber
man,
shop. I literally just left.
We like it when you're inside.
I like the barber chair, man.
I know. My barber likes too. He's like, man, it's free press, dog. Just make sure they know, where you're at.
All right, I want to start this by, I do Sunday nights on the Zone ABC 3340 with my guy Jeff Spiegel. You know Spiegs. And he did an interview with him, and he used it on the show, or you did an interview with him, used it on the show where you were like, yeah, Ryan Williams, nice kid. I'm not totally blown away yet. I tried to tell Speaks, Harp's a defensive back. It's hard for him to get blown away by a wide receiver. Ryan Williams had a pretty good game. Are you blown away yet?
No. You also got to understand, like, how I was introduced to this kid was that he was compared to Julio Jones, and I didn't even know who he was. He reminds me a lot of Julio. And I give all the credit to my ESPN 300 guy, Craig Harbert, who I work with on signing day and some other things. So I really trust him. He is really, really entrenched into the high school game where I do not care anything about. And he said, look, this kid could leave right now and he's 17, be a top 10 player in the country, or he could go back to high school and probably be the top 2 or 3 or first player in the country next year. I'm like, who? He's like, this kid Ryan Whips. He's this, that, and other, blah, blah, blah. And this is a huge get for Alabama because I was like, oh, what about all these receivers that Alabama's not getting? He's like, don't worry about it. They got that one. You're fine. This is the one. He reminds me of Julio Jones, the way he competes, this, that, and other, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. And then now I'm seeing him do all this stuff. I'm just like, I see why all the hype was there. So it's also how I was initially introduced to the young man, or what I was told about him initially, where I'm not always surprised. But I will say this. What he is doing is special. And it's really, really good to see a young man go out there and just ball out, play freely. And it's really cool to say, like, this is what happens when you don't know any better. He doesn't know he's not supposed to do all these spin moves. And before the ball gets there, look over his right shoulder so he can reverse spin, then reverse spin back. He's playing free. He doesn't know any better. And because nothing bad has happened to him, he can do it. So don't tell him anything differently. Just let him go.
So, Harp, outside of Alabama scoring a season-low 41 points against Georgia, can you find any negatives coming out of that win?
From the game, love it because, all right, Alabama won the game. That's all. That's great.
All right, we'll get back to Harp in 1 second when
the cell service gets better in his drive back.
Yeah, back from the barber shop. Harp, clean cut though. Let's go.
I do want to hear his answer to that because I do think a lot of Alabama fans have come out of that game feeling really, really good.
Did you guys lose me?
Yeah, we did. So just start over that question again.
Did you guys lose me?
We did. Yeah,
we did. You got us now.
Oh, sorry about that.
You
I
good?
don't know what happened. I heard you guys the whole time.
All right.
All right. So, anyways, it was a game of a lot of highs and a game of a lot of lows, and so the highs being what you saw the first quarter start, like Jalen Milroe completing easy early passes, not just deep throws, but short intermediate throws. The quarterback run game, like a lot of really good highs defensively, creating turnovers, making Carson Beck work for a lot of different things, really, really good things. But the lows are really big too. And so Alabama's got 3 huge lows for me right now that I see that are pretty blatant. Number one, the run game. And I'm not talking about just quarterback runs, but from your actually running backs. Like Alabama's not found a way to run the ball effectively all year long with their running backs. And any good running team can run the football effectively when everybody in the stadium knows you need to run the ball. And you can still go out there and do it. They got to get that thing figured out at some point because they haven't ran the ball well with their running backs all year long as far as like consistency. The second thing I have, penalties. Bad, costly penalties for this team. Very undisciplined penalties, too. Personal fouls. Penalties that are taking away big, explosive plays for you as well. And they've done this in multiple games. They got to get this thing squared away because if you think that Alabama fans are just happy that they beat Georgia, yes, that's true. But all it did was raise the expectations of championship and national SEC championship and national championship. All it did was make those fans even more. They're like, nah, it's guaranteed now. So the expectations have risen, and so has the things of these nature. So these little things you got to get squared away. The last low that I have for you guys is the secondary piece. The corners have got to learn how to play the football better in the air. It was very blatant that they did not do that well at all. And you know what? That's the one problem that I know will get better because they're all freshmen. And I love that Alabama's playing so many of them because all these guys are going to get better by the end of the year. And so game 8, 9, 10, they're making a lot more of these plays than they're not making.
And talk about that. That's what I wanted to ask you is you get beat, and then with 40-something seconds left, they throw at you again, and you make the play. Is that learning on the job? Is that just the mentality of being a dog out there and making a play the last chance you have to make one? Talk about what happened at the end of the game for Brown there.
Yeah, it's really learning on the job. The biggest thing was he played off coverage in the red zone, and the only thing you couldn't give up was a non-ball over the top of your head because Georgia has to score a touchdown. So just play off coverage, and then as soon as feel the receiver attacking you, feel where he's coming from, but then have eyes and be having relationship with the wide receiver and the quarterback to be able to see the whole equation. So often in football, DBs, we panic, right? Where we're not able to get the whole equation to be able to solve it. And that is the ball and the wide receiver. So often we're so much paying attention to the wide receiver that we forget 50% of it, which is the ball. Or so often we're paying attention to the ball and we lose track of where the receiver is. That's still just 50%. So when you have the whole equation, it's a lot easier to solve the problem. That's what I saw to Xavier Brown. Played off coverage, saw the ball in the air, and then went up and played the ball at the highest point, something we practice every day, and you've been doing it probably since you were 14 years old. That's what you do in those moments. And so your natural instincts kick in. When you're able to know everything, your eyes are right, your body will naturally do right. That was what I saw to Xavier Brown. Big time play by a young player, but nothing out of the ordinary or like, oh my gosh, look at that crazy good play. No, it's good technique. And when you have good, solid technique, good things will happen on the football field. And that's just a strong case of it. I'm really proud because, like I said before, these are a lot of young freshmen playing big moments and big times. And for Alabama to say like, oh man, this is like fourth quarter, crucial moment, and we still play our freshmen. I think that's outstanding. That's great. That's going to pay off for them so big in the future.
Roman Harper is with us, SEC Network. Alabama, a 22.5-point favorite at mybookie.ag. The Auburn Tigers, a 24-point underdog at mybookie.ag.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a big one. As they go to Georgia. Mybookie.ag, code next round, double that initial deposit. Code next round, double that initial deposit. I mean, I wouldn't exactly be excited to take Auburn as a 24-point underdog, Harp.
No, there's no way. Alabama fans are so excited. This is like the best thing they could ever do to Auburn. It's like, you know what? How about we beat Georgia, let them be pissed off and ready to go and revenge, and then send Auburn on the road to them. So this is it's not looking good. And I'll be honest, like Auburn, and I said this to Cole Kublik earlier this week. I said Auburn is really good at I don't even want to say really good, but man, they are really good at doing it. And they're really good at the worst thing in football, which is turning the ball over. Like, it's the worst thing you can do. And they do it consistently all the time. And that is a problem for them. And you don't win a lot of games when you turn the football over. And Auburn did so well for 3.5 quarters of taking care of the football. And when you got to have it, or you know, these big moments in the game, not only do you turn the football over, but then you give up 6 points on it too. So it's just backbreaking. It stinks. It's hard. And the fans are really, really sick and tired of it. And everybody knows what the problem is. And if they can't fix it, maybe this is just who this team is this year. And it's in their DNA. And when it's inside your DNA, you don't get to shake it or fix it. This is just who this team is this year.
So, Harp, you probably know the answer to this, but I'm going to throw you a trivia question, which will lead to a question. But the nation's longest win streak is a team currently in the SEC. It is?
Oh, my gosh. I should know this. Missouri.
It is Missouri. Nice. 8 consecutive wins along with Army.
Also, it's tied. It's tied with
Army. Army.
There we go.
Okay, so my question was going to be, I think this is a really interesting game coming off a bye for Eli Drinkwitz and Brady Cook and Missouri going to College Station, because after that week 1 win where the offense was so stagnant, now Marcel Reed comes in and it's kind of loosened up this running game. And I think A&M has gotten a little bit better each and every week. There's a reason they're favored against Missouri in this game. To me, this is the most fascinating game in the SEC this weekend.
Hold on, A&M's favored?
Oh, yeah. A&M's favored.
It's like 2.5.
I'll look it up real quick, Harp. A&M favored mybookie.ag by 2.5 right now at home.
Man, that is home field right there. Home field usually gives you 3 points, right? So, yeah, that is I did not know that. Man. Okay, good. I loved it. Hey, thanks, mybookie.ag. Appreciate that. First of all, Marcel Reed has unlocked some things with Texas A&M. You look at him, and he's able to create with his legs. He protects himself. He knows how to get down. I would love for him to get down a little bit faster sometimes, but he does a really good job of that. And A&M is really fun. Like last week versus Arkansas, that was a Mike Elko looking win. Like now I know how he won 8 or 9 games at Duke. It's because they do the little things right all the time. They're going to play hard. They're going to play solid defense. They're going to try and take care of the football. And every time you make a mistake, they're going to capitalize on it. And so I saw that over and over play out last week versus Arkansas. And that's all you're going to see out of this team this week as well. The thing I'm concerned with, if I'm a Missouri fan, is that Missouri, their secondary has given up big explosive plays over the top of the defense. And it's not because of technique. It's not because of we're not good enough, but it's because they've gotten lazy down the field. And what does that mean? Well, how do you mean you get lazy? You're running 50 yards. Well, if I'm running and I'm in a deep cover zone and all of a sudden I'm 30 yards down the field, I start to relax and I look at the quarterback and the wide receiver still runs. Like, I lose possession, I lose field. Now I'm down to that 50% that I just talked about of the equation of ball and relationship to the receiver. And then next, they keep running, they strike up the band on me because the quarterback can throw the ball 50 yards. So they've done that in every game. At some point, they have relaxed and given up a deep play. And with Marcel Reed's ability to be able to extend plays, run around just a second, then somebody's deep and wide open, that's what happens. So I definitely would be worried about that, including A&M ability to be able to run the football. This is going to be a really, really good test for both teams.
All right, he is Roman Harper. You'll see him on the SEC Network, ESPN Sports Center on Saturday morning as well. Harp, safe travels this week. Always good to see you, buddy.
Also Sunday morning now.
Oh.
Always also now on Sunday mornings. They doubling up now. So
look at Harp.
Sunday
Sunday morning.
and Sunday.
Wow, big time. All right, Harp. Safe travels. We'll see you next week. All right.
I appreciate it, fellas. Thanks as always.
All right,
Bye.
buddy. Take care. That is Roman Harper, mybookie.ag, code next round. He was a little surprised A&M's the home favorite. I will say this. Home field has meant nothing for them. They don't win big games hardly at all at Kyle Field.
Yeah, I still think, if this was neutral site, I think it's a pick.
You think so?
Yeah.
Let's talk about some neutral site games and more about that one in a second. First of all, I'd like to send our thoughts and prayers again to the fine folks of North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida still dealing with some connectivity problems with Roman there up there, Charlotte areas where he lives. Not as hit as bad as the Asheville, Rutherfordton, that side of the state. But the whole infrastructure there is being stressed. I heard today that I-40 may not reopen until September of next year. Is that possible?
I saw some aerial footage of it, and it's little no personal connection at all. But my wife and I have traveled that road a lot because we go up to that area some. She sent me a video, and massive sections just missing.
Yeah.
Of the interstate.
That's the floodwaters.
Yeah, the floodwaters just wiped it out. That's remarkable that they're strong enough to wipe out an interstate. But if you've ever been on I-40 in western North Carolina, it's one of the most spectacular stretches of road you'll ever be on. Just winds through the Smoky Mountains there, and it was shocking to see that.
Well, we saw the pictures at Augusta.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Augusta's beat up.
I had seen Magnolia Drive from an aerial, but this was from inside. Reportedly, I trust who was showing me, inside Augusta National, and it was crazy, just some of the damage there.
Yeah.
So Scott's showing you the photo. Just massive sections of the interstate just missing.
So that's I-40, and they're talking about at least next September before that even reopens, and it's hard to imagine it even reopening by next September because, look, the earth isn't there anymore.
Yeah,
underneath it. So I don't know what you do in that situation, but just thinking about all the folks up there, I know Marty Smith and McGee are trying to push awareness of that. A lot of NASCAR drivers who are on their way to Talladega this week, they're trying to push some of that, recovery efforts. A lot of your churches, your church families out there are sending care up there. Our friends at Alabama Power have gotten crews that are on their way up to help try to reconnect in Georgia and in Florida and in North Carolina. In East Tennessee. So just thoughts and prayers to that. And again, if you can help, get out there and help as much as you possibly can. This show being brought to you by our friends at Lanyas Furniture. Tell us about the great deals you get there.
Yeah, look, inventory, great selection, great pricing. Those are the important things when you're looking for furniture. Maybe you look for that final piece for your entertainment room, your man cave, whatever it is. They've got it for you at Lanyas Furniture. At Lanyas, they believe in getting more style for less. Lanyas offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, entertainment. They've also got an incredible selection of mattresses. Savings going on store-wide right now. Get in, see Reggie, John, the fine folks there. If you're driving from Birmingham, just a short little drive. Take exit 280 off of I-65, the Hallmark Farms exit. Go south on U.S. Highway 31 for 1.3 miles. Lanyas will be right there on your right For more information, 205-647-4311.
And our friends at Way to Wellness, if you're looking to change careers and are a dietitian or want to work in this side of the industry, you can go to the website, aplanforme.com, and check out some career opportunities with Leslie and her board-certified team there at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. For weight loss, they've got everything for you there. Including the injections that have become very popular in weight loss that sort of curb your appetite, all the way down to food plans and protein bars. They do it all, and they do it with a free evaluation. No out-of-pocket money. You can go there and talk to Leslie and her board-certified team. All you have to do is go to the website, aplanforme.com. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and that first consultation is free. It is Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Okay, you mentioned neutral site games, and if you had matchups, Missouri and Texas A&M is not one of those situations. But if Missouri was playing, say, Miami at a neutral site, who would be your team in that one?
Miami would be favored like 2.5.
But who wins the game, do you think?
I think Missouri.
I think I might. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say Miami. Yeah. They're coming off.
These all would be tight matchups.
Yeah. They would be. About to give you. I mean, Miami is coming off probably their worst performance of the year, even in a win, right?
Yep. Well, we don't feel like we trust Missouri yet.
Missouri's coming off maybe their worst performance because they had a bye last week, did they not? And their last game is still Vandy. It seems like forever ago.
This is going to be. I think we will know what we need to know about Missouri coming off the bye into College Station
because they have not played up to the level we expected.
Struggled with BC. Struggled obviously with Vanderbilt.
Meanwhile, I feel like A&M has progressively gotten just a little bit better since the Notre Dame game. I think some of that's the switch to Marcel Reed.
I think A&M will win this game.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Lance on this one. Again, they don't win big games at home by and large, but I don't think that's the whole reason they're favored. I know home field factors into it.
It's pretty crazy. We're in week 6, and this is the only ranked matchup.
Is A&M in Missouri?
Yeah.
11 a.m. 4 more neutral site games. I just want you to feel because these are teams I don't really know what I know about them. And these two would be mind-boggling to me. LSU, Notre Dame.
I think I would
neutral site.
LSU in that game.
Yeah, it'd be close to a pick too.
Yeah, that's another team that I think has progressively just gotten a little bit better since the USC losses to LSU.
And I think Notre Dame's pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, it'd be close.
Clemson, Ole Miss.
Before last week, I would have quickly told you Ole Miss.
Yeah, but Clemson's offense has gotten a little bit better, but their defense and what you saw, Kentucky's defense due to Ole Miss.
I think I'll go Clemson in this one after last week.
I think I would lean Clemson.
Yeah.
Boise State, Kansas State, because there's part of me that still believes, even though the standings don't show it, that Kansas State, for some reason, is still the better team in the Big 12. They may not get a chance to prove it.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt Boise. Now, I did back Boise against Washington State this past weekend, but, for them to go into Eugene, and really it took interception return, punt return, a lot of crazy things for Boise to not win that game. I don't know. I would think Kansas State. I would lean Kansas State.
I will say Kansas State. I'm looking where they are nationally. They're good against the run. They're 20th against the run nationally. That's going to be your big stat in that game because Ashton Genty's the best running back in the country. So if you're going to beat Boise State, you're going to have to limit that guy somehow, and nobody's been able to do it yet.
Yeah. I just thought it was some of those they're close in the rankings, but those are some teams I don't really know who they are yet, and if they played each other, I don't really know who would win the game. Cut 12 is Eli Drinkwitz. You guys are talking about his big trip down Missouri to play Texas A&M in the only ranked matchup. Interesting scenario in this game. One of them is Connor Wegman is cleared to play, but they have been better with Marcel Reed. So first off, what do you do in that situation?
I stick with Marcel Reed.
I stick with Marcel Reed too.
I think it's been a better football team with him quarterbacking.
Yeah, I mean, you're winning. I don't know how really impressive you looked last week against Arkansas, but you're winning.
And I know the old injury can't cost you your job type thing, but sometimes the backup just looks better. And it's not the injury that cost you the job. It's the fact that I got to see the backup. That's what cost you the job.
And then there is Bria Reed, the sister of Marcel Reed. Bria Reed is the assistant on-campus recruiting coordinator for Missouri.
Uh-oh.
She works very high in the recruiting process for Eli Drinkwitz in Missouri.
Couldn't even get her brother on campus?
And Marcel Reed is at Texas A&M. So Eli Drinkwitz put in a rule this week that Marcel Reed's sister can't stay at practice all week long because he doesn't want anything linking down to the brother. Here's Eli.
Interesting connection. Marcel's sister, Bria Reed, is our assistant director of on-campus recruiting here at the University of Missouri. So she's not allowed at practice this week. And didn't know that until about 3 weeks ago when he started at Florida and won. One of the staff members told me. So obviously happy for their family, and Bria does an excellent job here, and we're very fortunate for her to be on our staff here.
Yeah, he's clearly kidding.
But we don't trust her to come to practice.
He's clearly kidding, but I think there's some truth in there, too.
Well, what happens first? He shaves the head or he wins a playoff game?
So you're saying his hairline is going in the wrong direction?
Well, I mean
he's got a comb over for sure.
Yeah, Tyler's pulled it back up. He's trying to hide the receding hairline. That's what you do. Can you zoom in on that even more, Tyler? Or is that as zoomed as you can get?
Yeah, you guys were the first to tell me about toupees. I never noticed, but I mean that is a complete comb over.
Yeah, that's 100% a comb over.
That's not a toupee. That's a comb
it's not
over.
It's not a toupee at all. But he's combing over to try to hide the receding hairline.
Yeah, I mean he would look like what was Bill Murray's character in Kingpin? McCracken.
Ernie McCracken.
He would look like McCracken if his hair was just out there.
Yeah, I don't know, Lance. I don't know if you shave it or not. I don't know. I mean,
here's the fortunate thing about it: you can always wear a hat if you're a coach.
Well, but he goes visor. He does the exact opposite of that. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to accentuate it. I'm going to wear a visor.
So you're telling me if the wind is blowing west to east at Kyle Field or swirling, that there's a chance that whole thing flops straight up?
Oh, yeah.
You may not have to worry about the little flags on top of the goalpost. You can just look at Eli Drinkwitz's hair.
And it would show bald skin? You think it flaps?
Show bald skin,
yeah.
That's how you know which way to, if they win the coin toss, they look at Eli's hair to know which way they want to go.
You know, much like I said this about Ole Miss, everybody talked about the schedule. The two easiest schedules for contenders were Ole Miss and Missouri. If you're not an elite team, a loss will find you. A loss found Ole Miss this past weekend. I think a loss or two is going to find Missouri. Just the team I've watched in September is not a playoff team. Now, maybe they turn it around coming off the bye again. I think we'll know a lot more about this Missouri team after Saturday in College Station, but I lean that Texas A&M wins this game.
It's a really interesting stretch for them with this game at Kyle Field. They get UMass on the road, weird road game. They're not going to lose that one. But then they've got Auburn at home, who, when Auburn plays clean football, they're good enough to beat a team like Missouri.
Yeah, sure.
And then you're at Alabama, and I don't even have to tell you about that.
Yeah, that's not happening.
All right, the show being brought to you by our friends at Inverness Country Club. Another hour of the show coming up on the other side that includes Jon Sumrall.
Yeah, I was talking to our friend Aaron at Inverness yesterday and this morning. Hey, look, if you want to take a tour of this unbelievable club, we've been talking about it for months. All you got to do is call Aaron, schedule that appointment, 205-991-8608. You can always go online, iccalabama.com. At Inverness Country Club, you can find your sense of community. They've got memberships that fit everyone from the social, including the resort-style pool complex, full-service cabana bar, live music on Friday night, Sunday brunch, the golf membership. Our man Aaron Suttles is a member out there. He's playing golf all the time. You guys played the course recently. They're currently expanding that driving range. Maybe you relocated to retired. Inverness, a great place to network. Don't forget about childcare, also a big plus. Maybe you work from home. What about working from the club while they watch your kid? Whatever your interests are, you can find it at Inverness. The best days happen there. For more information, 205-991-8608 or iccalabama.com.
And go see America and an RV from Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. They can help you see that fall foliage changing right now. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. They got travel trailers as low as $145 a month. They've got fifth wheels starting over $45,000 on the savings there on the fifth wheels. Best pricing you're going to find. RV warranty forever. Make sure you got a lifetime warranty on anything that is new and qualifying previously owned. See it at johnstonrvcenter.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
NASCAR is back with the Yellowwood 500 at Talladega, Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Get your tickets right now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or call 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Don't forget to enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Race. The weekend includes Buck and Dega, a rodeo and fireworks on Friday night, Jake Owen in concert on Saturday, and the Yellowwood 500 on Sunday. Get your tickets at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Tulane head coach, former Troy head coach, now at Tulane and killing it down with the Green Wave, Jon Sumrall joins us at 10:30 in about 27 minutes here on the show. The Next Round, LTD&B, his old school Troy at home tonight, Texas State and Troy, 6 o'clock on ESPNU if you want to watch that. Sam Houston and UTEP, 8 o'clock on the CBS Sports Network tonight. Hemphill brings you the lock of the day, lanceslock.com. Maybe he's got a Game 3 baseball play with the Mets and Brewers. Maybe he's got a college play on those two games. Maybe he's got a play on the Bucks and Falcons tonight. 3-1 Tampa, 2-2 Atlanta tonight over at Mercedes.
Yeah, we do have a play, Game 3, the deciding game right there with the Brewers and the Mets. We also have a play in one of the college games, and we do have a play in your Bucks-Falcons game between you and Forster there. So lanceslog.com, 3-1 right now in the postseason. Are you excited about the game? Oh, you got your gear on.
Yeah, under. I was telling Forrester, I was surprised that you guys didn't know I was playing a bit yesterday.
No, you are playing a bit.
You are not.
Zero chance.
Oh, my goodness.
I would bet, well, you've got one of my balls. I would bet the other one.
Yeah.
That you were not playing a bit. You were literally tripped up.
Under tonight.
Lanceslog.com, 3-1 right now in the Major League Baseball postseason. Jump on board. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services, 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Make it Hemp Hill Services.
43.5.
43.5.
At mybookie.ag. That's a pretty mid-range total for this week, yeah.
Well, here's one thing you can guarantee.
It's far from the lowest.
With the Falcons being in the game, it's going to be a one-possession game.
Yeah, that's all they play.
So 21-17 Atlanta, that's an under, right?
21-17 would be an under. You can almost, like if you wanted to do the 3-game tease, some bookmakers don't take it, 10 points each side. I think this is one of those games you could tease it either way and you hit both.
Just to put it in perspective, Vegas-Denver is your lowest under of the weekend. It's at 36. Miami and New England at 36.5.
Have you guys watched Denver's offense?
I have. Well, Bo Nix, it is, what were we, week 4 last week? And Bo Nix threw his first touchdown pass. So that should tell you everything you need to know about Denver's offense.
Yeah, I think you could probably pick his best 2-game span at Oregon last year, and he probably will have, in that 2-game span, more total touchdowns than he has passing touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
But that defense is lights out, and Bo's gritty, and,
it's Vance Joseph. He was the guy that was the defensive coordinator when Miami put 70 on him last year, and I thought they may fire that guy Monday morning, and they've stuck with him, and it's a really good defense.
We got the injury report for the Georgia-Auburn game. Mondon, the big linebacker, out for Georgia. Humphrey's out again. Ratledge out again. So a couple, 3 starters there out for Georgia in that game when they get Auburn this weekend. Interesting on the Auburn availability report, Alex McPherson, place kicker, probable.
Okay.
This week.
That's an improvement. Towns Magoo was not very good in that loss to Oklahoma, and McPherson has been out all season with that I don't even know how to describe it, that sickness.
Yeah.
And hopefully he can get back out there because normally Auburn is airtight at field goal kicker.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And McPherson, we know you've got to see him once on the field to kick off, whether it's first half or second half. But if I put the over-under on McPherson on the field 3.5 times?
Yeah, I would take the over.
Would you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's got to be out there once.
I look at Georgia and everybody's like, man, what is wrong with their defense? Let's not forget, you got to give Alabama's offense a lot of credit where they score on their first 4 possessions, touchdowns. Georgia had not given up an offensive touchdown going back to last year's SEC championship game.
That's insanity.
So I still think Georgia's got an elite defense.
Smuff in the MyBookie.ag chat room says, Ratledge, you mean Joe Diffie?
Yeah, Joe
boy. It does look like Joe Diffie.
You know what's crazy? I didn't realize that Mike Bobo, his kid was a center.
I didn't either. Yeah, Didn't that blow you away?
Yeah, and then I started to think, and I said this on Bama and Bourbon yesterday, how often do quarterbacks have offensive linemen, but we got one with Bobby Hebert and T-Bob.
That's true. Yeah, that's the exact, as a center, too, with T-Bob.
Sadly, he's third-string center. He was being forced into action because of the injuries, but center nonetheless there. Okay, so The Athletic polled 50 people, and this is our buddy Bruce Feldman and Antonio Morales. They polled 50 people from all over major college football. Some athletic directors, some head coaches, some coordinators, some FCS coaches, some group of 5 coaches. The 5 best jobs in college football.
So these are all
the 5 best jobs in college football. Those 50 people. It's only 50 people.
They're all in college football.
They're all in college football.
Okay.
Some are athletic directors. Some are current FBS head coaches. Some are current group of 5 head coaches or assistant coaches.
I feel great about 4. I can give you 4, but I don't know about the 5th.
I want the order because I think the 5s are right. Give me the number 1 best job in college football according to them.
I think they're still going to say Alabama.
I think Alabama.
Yeah. It is Georgia.
Okay.
And
I got Alabama number 2.
It gets down to some recruiting models, with Georgia and Florida.
It is the hot state Georgia is. Yeah.
Number 2 is Texas.
Okay.
I had both in the top 4.
I still maintain that there is something we don't see about Texas that everybody else seems to think is there, because as good as everybody tells me that job is, what do they have to show for that?
Number 3 is Ohio State.
Yep, add them there.
All right.
Bama's got to be 4.
Number 4 is Alabama.
And that would have been my top 4. I just didn't know the order.
Now it gets tricky. I mean, who would you go with, Brown, if you had to go with a 5th best job right now in college football?
I just wonder how high they're going to put Oregon. Again, everybody raves about their facilities. They've done nothing but win. But coaches continue to choose to leave there, which I think's got to tell you something.
I don't have the entire list in front of me. I had it earlier, but I didn't think we'd get too deep.
I'm going to randomly say LSU at 5.
Oregon was a top 10.
Okay.
I'm going to go LSU.
It is LSU, number 5. Explain that to me.
Well, again, recruiting base. As Nick Saban said, you can shake trees and receivers fall out.
Here's all I would say. Ed Orgeron, and you can include Les Miles. Those guys won national championships there. I think that shows you the talent in-state, the resources. I mean, LSU just can't, at least in our lifetime, can't stay bad for long.
Yeah, Nick Saban woke it up, and Miles and Orgeron, of all people, took it to the next level, and Brian Kelly's trying to do that. They caught up on facilities. Again, just the recruiting base.
By the way, Saban never had a team like Les Miles had in 11.
Oh, no.
He never had a team like Ed Orgeron had in 19.
Nowhere close.
Those are the 2 best teams in LSU history.
No, I'm just saying Saban woke it up. Miles and Orgeron overall did a better job than Saban. Well, Orgeron did 1 year. I don't know about his whole being better than Saban. But Miles' whole was better than Saban. I mean, it's hard to deny, but Nick Saban did wake it up.
Jon Sumrall will join us coming up at the bottom of the hour. He's in Tulane in New Orleans. He understands the talent base down in that state, and then getting into the state of Texas and down on the Gulf Coast. We'll talk to him about what's the future of Tulane. They're in town this weekend. Before we do our 4 downs today, I want to say congratulations to the great folks at Knight Eady here in town. They have secured once again the NCAA basketball tournament first and second round, coming back to Birmingham in 2028. That's a big get. We had such a good time with it 2 years ago, 2 tournaments ago now, when they came to Birmingham, and we happened to have Alabama and Auburn both potted here.
Yeah. And I think you can see kind of the framework here. I think you're probably going to see, if they can pull this off, men's tournament, first and second round, women's tournament, Elite 8 and Sweet 16, men's tournament, every 2 years you're going to get that here in Birmingham. I think that's what they're trying to pull off there, and so far they've been able to do it.
Yeah, I've always thought that Birmingham was really underrated. Now, it's hard to say this now, underrated basketball town, but the last 5 years it's really blown up. But you go back in the summer leagues we've talked about in the 80s. I mean, Birmingham has always been kind of a hidden gem of a basketball town, and you know what? We show up when we have basketball.
Yeah, and as good as Alabama and Auburn have gotten, it's nice to have the first and second round in Birmingham, because you're competing for 1 and 2 seeds and could play very close to home for your fans.
Absolutely. At some point, though, that's 2028. I feel like we could be in the rotation again in 31 or 32. At some point, we got to address another facility. And I know for a town like Birmingham, I know we just remodeled that place, blah, 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 blah. But
I agree.
At some point, we'll have to address. I mean, that was built in the 70s. We'll need to build a new arena.
Well, we do not meet the capacity requirements to get the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 on the men's side. We can on the women's side, which they have done. But we do not meet the capacity requirements.
And we had to do the upgrades just to get the NCAA tournament first and second round back.
Right.
So we're barely in the mix. So Knight Eady, or those folks working their butts off to keep it in rotation, helped out by the SEC. But in the future, I mean, if you're a future planner in the city, at some point, you need to start addressing this.
I mean, I would like to think that would happen, but they just spent a ton just to renovate what we got. So I would not think that is any time in the near future.
I wouldn't say so either, but at some point, 32, somewhere around 32, we need to have something else built, in my opinion. All right, 4 downs brought to you by our friends at Slice. They bring us the 4 downs every day. LT doesn't have it for us today because it's Thursday. That means Tyler slides in with some off the beaten path 4 down things. And as always, Slice brings us the 4 downs. Great lunch location.
Yeah, 5 locations for you. The original Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, newest location in Edgewood. Get a slice and a salad. Pick up a couple of pies on your way home tonight. Fantastic pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
What ingredients or toppings would go on your perfect burger?
Okay, so I will say the perfect. I like a potato bun, by the way.
Okay, I don't hate that.
Perfect burger. I'll call up Jim at the New York Butcher Shop and get him to go on and make. And it looks like a big meatball, so it's the smash burger ready to go, already dusted up with the great seasonings. So I smash the burger out on the Blackstone, and then I'm very simple. If I'm just going with a go-to, I will do the Tillamook white sharp cheddar cheese, mayonnaise, and ketchup. That's all I need.
Wow, that's it.
Tillamook white cheddar doesn't sound very basic, but it sounds good though.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You can get it in an aisle though in most grocery stores.
Very important to me, Tyler, is meat to bread ratio. Not too much bun, not too much meat. You got to have a good meat to bread ratio. All right, so we got to address that first. I like a thick patty. I don't like the smash burger. I like the thicker patty.
See, I don't like a thick patty at all.
Colby Jack cheese, simple or not, it's got to be melted onto the patty. We don't just throw it on at the end. Melt it on while it's on the grill.
I'm not saying this is in regards to you, but I always thought the thick patty was a little lazy. My old man, that's all he did was thick patty, burn it after drinking too many beers.
Yeah, I do not burn mine. Yeah, thick patty. Fresh slice of tomato, fresh lettuce, 2 or 3 pickle chips.
Where's your onion?
No onion, and barbecue sauce. That's it. And I do like the buns buttered and toasted on the inside there.
That's a good move.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
I hate the toasted bread.
Do you now?
It's toast at that point. Just ketchup, mustard, mayo, heirloom tomato, cheese, and pickles and onions. That's it for me. Chop the onions. I like that best.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Second down.
The popular former bank robber turned YouTuber Larry Lawton turns 62 today. So I've got to ask, what's your favorite bank heist or bank robbery movie?
It's The Town. I thought The Town was incredible, based on real life events in Charlestown. Now, obviously, nobody robbed Fenway Park, but I thought the way that they laid that thing out, it was fantastic. Great directorial debut from Ben Affleck, but I love that movie.
Which one was all the Nixons?
That was
Point
Break.
Point Break. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, that was a good one. I never saw the remake. I didn't want to see the remake, but the original with Keanu, 1991, and Patrick Swayze, Bodie, that was great.
Will you give me Ocean's 11?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a casino heist.
Yeah, it's a casino heist. Not necessarily a bank, but more money than a bank would have, probably. Ocean's 11, fantastic.
Yeah, I thought Ocean's 11 was really good. 12 was okay. It kind of went.
Did you like Inside Man?
I thought it was okay. Spike Lee, Clive Owen.
Yeah, it was
Denzel.
It was good.
Yeah, it was okay.
It's good. Nice finish. You see how they do it.
Yeah, The Getaway was a pretty good heist film.
Yeah, okay.
Third down.
The popular rapper A$AP Rocky turns 35 today. Since I know you guys don't know who that is, what's your favorite Rocky movie?
I do know who A$AP Rocky is, by the way.
I've heard of him, Tyler. Our favorite Rocky movie, Jim will say Rocky 4.
Growing up, I think it was significant. Rocky 1 is obviously the best of all of them. The Creeds are really good. But 4, because of what we grew up in the 80s with the Cold War, I thought it was... it was just one of those where you would go as, I was 11, 12 when it came out or whatever. It was a movie that gave me chills.
We give you grief for it, Dunaway, but when I was a kid, Rocky 4 was my favorite.
Yeah, but Rocky, the original, is my favorite. I was watching the McMahon documentary last night and forgot that Hulk Hogan was in one of the Rockies.
Rocky 3.
Yeah, in Rocky 3. And actually was forbidden from being in Rocky. He was told you could either wrestle or you could be in Rocky. He chose Rocky, but that was before Vince McMahon. He was with some other region, and Vince McMahon was looking for stars. So he was about to take over, blow out the regions, and he went and got Hulk Hogan.
Oh, wow. Is that how that happened?
That's how it all happened.
Oh, what a gift for him.
He built his whole empire on Hulk Hogan.
But it was funny. I didn't know who Hulk Hogan was when I saw the movie as a kid. And he looks, Stallone's probably 5'8", 5'7", 5'8", but he looks so massive in the ring standing next to Stallone. And you bring this up that was your favorite Rocky 4.
It was as a kid.
Well, Jack now, Jack's a big Sylvester Stallone guy and a big Rocky and Creed guy, but Rocky 1 is his favorite, but Rocky 4 is his second favorite.
I do remember, though, as a kid, when all the Russian soldiers would go, Rocky, right, thinking, come on, man.
And he was like, if we can get along, if you can win, then I can win, we can win together. It was like on Christmas Eve or whatever, and these kids are crying in the living room.
My kid want to be at home in bed.
Adrian!
Fourth down.
Tommy Lee, the drummer from Motley Crue, turns 61 today.
We know who that is.
Yeah, did you see Did you see a coyote got their dog the other day?
Oh no.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so Tommy Lee, whoever
Hey.
he's married to, it's one of those surveillance ring cameras, and she's out running around the pool grabbing it. They got the dog back from the coyote. But
Oh,
yeah,
no.
this was this week.
I saw on one of the neighborhood apps that your neighborhood coyotes are an issue right now. So heads up on that.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think I'll see if I can find it and I'll send it to you.
Tommy Lee turned 61 today. So who had the better career, Tommy Lee or Tommy Lee Jones?
Tommy Lee Jones. Look, Tommy Lee, great drummer, would be fun to hang out with. You look at some of the groupies he went through back in the day. You read or watched the movie Dirt, and but Tommy Lee Jones. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones is won an Academy Award. He's been nominated for multiple Academy Awards. He's had an incredible career.
Did he win an Academy Best Supporting Actor for The Fugitive?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I know it's easy to say, well, he won an Academy Award for it. That's got to be his best role still, right?
Sam Gerard.
U.S. Deputy
probably.
Sam
No
Gerard.
Country for Old Men. I know Forster's a big fan. He was really, he's just a good sheriff.
He is.
Yeah, he's just a good lawman.
Yeah, I like me some Tommy Lee Jones. I think I would go with Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones for me too, Tyler.
All right.
And that's Four Downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice today. Tell us about Slice.
Yeah, 5 great locations. Stop in, get a slice and a salad. From the hot mama to the soul pie, local pizza, local ingredients, created by the late Jeff Bajaya. His legacy continue to be celebrated by his brothers Jason and Chris. Stop into one of those 5 locations for lunch or dinner. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
And our friends at NASCAR as we go racing again this weekend. Brown and I out there with E.G. and Taylor earlier this week, and another piece of content drops later today. You can go racing and enjoy the playoff races this weekend all the way up to race day. Getting your tickets at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Buck and Dega is the rodeo, is Friday night after the truck playoff race. Saturday's Jake Owen in concert, and then Sunday's the Talladega Superspeedway presentation of the Yellowwood 500 playoff race. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. By the way, if you basketball fans checking in, I saw a picture of the court on the floor at Bama and Boutwell, a mock-up. Looks really good as Alabama gets ready to play that October 18th bout on Friday night before the Tides in Tennessee for football. But Alabama and Wake Forest down at Boutwell October 18th. It's going to be a very intimate setting, less than 2,000 people in the building for a college basketball exhibition game, but it should be a great atmosphere for Bama and Boutwell coming up pretty soon. All right, NFL football back tonight. Devontae Adams will not play this weekend, according to reports for the Raiders. They don't play until Sunday, but he's unlikely to play. 4 teams in the mix for Devontae. You guys mentioned them yesterday. Dallas, the Jets, then Pittsburgh and Buffalo are the other 2 teams in the mix there. Which one does Devontae help the most?
I think Buffalo, because they got a quarterback that can get it to him. And Buffalo hasn't been as bad without Stephon Diggs than I thought. I thought that they would have a significant offensive drop-off.
I did too.
Now, they did not look good Sunday night. I get that, Lance. But
yeah, that was more on their defense,
yeah.
I thought.
But Pittsburgh, if you added him with George Pickens to Pittsburgh, the question becomes, can
Frymuth at receiver,
can
tight end.
Justin Fields get him the ball, though?
Well, I don't know. Fields has gotten a lot better through 4 games. You know, they're sitting at 3-1. It was kind of a weird loss to Indianapolis. But, you know, if they get past Dallas this weekend in Pittsburgh, they need another offensive weapon. We know how good Pittsburgh's defense is.
Boy, if you had George Pickens and Devontae Adams,
yeah,
that's pretty good. And
but,
like you said,
if you were the Jets and you had Garrett Wilson along with Devontae Adams.
Yeah. And
I mean, the Saints, Chris Olave.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to help any team he goes to, Dunaway. I would not want to see him in division of Buffalo, to answer your question. Who does he help most? I don't know how in the division the Dolphins even are right now, but I wouldn't want to see him in Buffalo.
Well, I think everyone just assumes he's going to be a Jet, right? Who, by the way, is in London this weekend. The Jets are sending Aaron Rodgers across the pond after getting banged around last week a lot in that NFL game. People want to see maybe them reunited. I bet Aaron Rodgers would be all about getting Devontae Adams.
Yeah, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, hey, look, guys.
I'm pulling a Brady. I'm saying this. We need this guy.
Yeah, I would say that. Look, I've only got maybe this year, maybe next year, but if you guys want to win a championship, if you want to bring back Lombardi for the first time in, 50-plus years, 55 years to the city of New York, or at least to Jets fans, give me this piece. We need this extra piece.
All right, we'll talk to Jon Sumrall coming up. Before we head to break here, Forster, Sacramento State. By the way, Sacramento State, sack to the pack or sack to I forget the other saying they've got, but they've got a fundraising group going on that have put together $35 million of promises for NIL if Sacramento State gets bumped up to the FBS, and they'd love to be in the Pac-12, the new reformed Pac-12. So they've got a SAC for the Pac going. And one of the best things Tulane did, we'll talk to their coach in a moment, but they built an on-campus stadium, right? Nice little stadium down at Tulane. Sac State is going to build this stadium on campus at Sacramento State. Beautiful little venue there. I say little. I don't know how big it is.
It looks like 30,000, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's a beautiful little setting there in Sacramento. Hornet Stadium there. And the Sacramento Kings, to get them up and maybe into the Pac-12, has said, we will allow you to play for free inside our arena for your men's and women's basketball for the Sacramento Kings.
Well, that's a nice move by them. I am stunned that they are making this kind of push to get in the Pac-12.
Yep.
I mean, they're FCS right now. Am I correct?
That's right. Yeah. And they're interested in making that jump mainly now because of Gonzaga basketball. That has changed, according to reports yesterday, of Gonzaga making the move to go to the Pac-12.
Oh, looking at that on paper, that's not going to be a bad conference.
That has the people that turned them down originally now are like, okay, Gonzaga's in? That may change our whole financial footprint. So maybe we won't back in now. So keep an eye on that expansion. We'll head to Tulane when we come back. The show being brought to you by Dr. B, the guy that's changed everybody's hair on the show except mine.
Yeah, I am doing the non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. The hair has more than doubled in thickness. Brown is doing the exact same treatment right now. Our man, Dr. Beckenstein, for more than 20 years, women and men have turned to him for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today. Schedule the consultation, 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
Follow LT on Twitter at thelancetaylor.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings account, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. from day one, Xerox Business Solutions. They've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
The 2024 Yellowwood 500 weekend is coming back to Talladega Superspeedway Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Reserve your spot today by visiting TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Raid, the most immersive garage experience in NASCAR. Reserve your seat, your spot in the infield, or your camping site for the Yellowwood 500 weekend Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. Join me and CBS sports analyst Brandon Marcello for the Middle Eight each Monday at 8 a.m. as we look back at the weekend of college football from the SEC to the top 25 of the college football playoff. It's the Middle Eight, presented by MyBookie.ag, code Next Round.
This hour of the Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Tulane head coach Jon Sumrall in just a second as we get ready for Tulane to come in as a heavy favorite against the UAB team that is struggling at Protective this weekend. Show being brought to you in part today by our friends at Milo's. They've got a great idea. If you want to tailgate down at Protective this weekend, take the burger bar with you.
The burger bar is fantastic. Like, maybe you're just having a big party at the house. You can have Milo's catering team come in. Catering options range from individualized box lunches, ideal for any work or team gathering. You can customize, build your own burger bar, chicken sandwich bar. This is going to be a hit at any tailgate. And for the Next Round viewer and listener, Milo's offering $10 off for the first-time catering orders this fall. Enter that code CATERING10, all caps. That's catering10 when you order Milo's Catering through the Milo's mobile app. To learn more about Milo's catering options, please visit miloshamburgers.com/catering. That is miloshamburgers.com/catering. Stay saucy.
We'll give Coach some time to get set up down in New Orleans with us. Mentioning again the two games tonight. Texas State at Troy, 6 o'clock. That's his former school, former stadium there on ESPNU. And then Sam Houston in UTEP at 8 o'clock on the CBS Sports Network, the two college games that are happening with you tonight. Roman Harper on the show earlier. You can get that podcast wherever you get the podcast. And we go back to NFL football with Dan Orlovsky coming up at the top of the hour. We've talked a lot this week about UAB coming off of their last couple of outings, and now here comes a Tulane team that is has been pretty impressive this year for Coach Sumrall.
Boy, they have. Well, their two losses are Kansas State, which I watched a lot of that game. That was a back-and-forth game, week 2 down in New Orleans.
Watch that game, and Tulane looked like the better team that day.
Yeah, and then they go to Oklahoma. That game got away from them a little bit there at Oklahoma. But I thought, Lance, what they did against South Florida last week was very, very impressive.
Yeah, it's almost like, okay, you've got back-to-back games against K-State and Oklahoma. Though that's going to be a high, mountain to climb. But they represented well, all right? You're right, against Kansas State, it was a late scoop and score. And then against Oklahoma, it was a pick six. Either Tulane had the pick six to make it a one-possession game, or Oklahoma had it to kind of take that game away. But now that you've kind of like fallen into this schedule, when you start to look how this thing's going to play out, like at North Texas, a little tricky, but I think Tulane's a much better team. At Navy is kind of that game you circle. Like, I think Tulane's going to win out. I think they're going to go 10-2. And is 10-2 with those two losses good enough for them to be the Group 5?
Yeah, I don't know. I think some of that depends on what Boise does. I think Boise's in the conversation there. But, I think we respect South Florida. Now, look, South Florida's last two have been a blowout loss to Miami and a blowout loss to Tulane. So it's kind of hard to say this. But I think people around here look at Alex Golesh as like, that guy could coach, right? And I think South Florida has a lot of respect. And they beat them 45-10 last week.
They are going to have to start winning some games.
They are.
South Florida's 2-3 right now. They were 7-6 last year. I expected more.
Yeah, we talk a lot about Alex Golesh, but the guy's a 500 coach right now.
Yeah, but you look at the three losses. I mean, it is Alabama, it is Miami, and it is Tulane.
Yeah, I mean, they're not awful losses, but, the Alabama game got away from them late after they actually had it very tight going into the fourth quarter. Miami blew them out, and now Tulane's blowing them out.
This was their worst loss this past weekend, losing by 35.
Forrester has on 3 Sports, as a Pro Football Focus, is new top 10 projected draft picks. Changes every week for the upcoming NFL draft. Number 2 to the Miami Dolphins. They got your
second.
They got your team finishing second worst only to the Jaguars. Quarterback Jalen Milroe, number 2 overall to the Miami Dolphins, behind only Travis Hunter to the Jaguars. I would not wish that upon Travis. Never been a fan of the organization in Jacksonville.
And I'm not sure what they've got at quarterback. I don't know if they know. Milroe, top quarterback. And we talked about the fact that Rex Ryan was saying this on the ESPN pregame show Sunday.
Well, not only Rex Ryan, you've got now Mel Kiper, you've got Field Yates, you've got a lot of people that believe Milroe will be the first quarterback off the board.
Cam Ward's the only other quarterback in the top 10. That would be interesting with him in Miami, staying in Miami if you went that route. Look, I wouldn't hate it with Milroe. I love what he does outside the pocket. He is so fast. I mean, he's a bigger Lamar Jackson in terms of his ability to run. I would not hate that, man. I mean, look, quarterback is a crapshoot. There are guys you take all the time that you think are givens. They don't win. There are guys you take that people question and they win. So it's a complete crapshoot. I would have no problem with the Miami taking Jalen Milroe. I'll tell you that. One guy we got to know when he was here in state and really, really liked him, always loved having him on the show when he was at Troy, is Coach Jon Sumrall. And when he took the Tulane job, we're like, crap, he's never going to come on the show anymore. But today he is back. Coach Sumrall with us. You're muted, Coach. Just unmute it real quick so we can say hello to you. And Coach is going to join us from down in New Orleans. There we go. You're back up. Welcome back, Coach. How you been?
I'm good. Appreciate you guys helping me with the technology here. I'm by no means an expert there. Glad to be with y'all, man. When I got the message from Jason Core, our SID here, I was like, I'm going to find a way to get on with these guys. Love visiting with y'all every time.
Well, we appreciate it. For those that don't know, Coach literally just ran off the practice field and jumped on to make this time work. So we greatly appreciate you doing that. You're coming here to town. We were talking about your schedule. You lost to Kansas State. You lost to Oklahoma. Those are tough games, obviously. But what did you learn about your team when you were sitting there at 1-2, but you had played 2 pretty good Power 5 programs there?
Yeah, we had taken, Kansas State was down to the wire. We're up 20-10 at half. We were tied 27-27 mid-fourth quarter, have an unfortunate turnover, get down 34-27, and then drive the length of the field and go back and have a chance to score at the end of the game. Had a offensive pass interference called on a touchdown we scored. Didn't count, then turned it over again right before at the end of the game. And so heartbreaking defeat against Kansas State. Went to Oklahoma, first road trip, young quarterback. We got down 21-0 before you could blink. And then in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes left or 10 minutes left, we got the ball twice with an opportunity to take the lead. The score was 24-19. So we were able to fight back and find our way back into that game after playing about a quarter and a half of the worst football we could probably play. And so that stretch was tough. And I think then we had to go on the road to Louisiana Lafayette. Always a hard place to play. Heat index that day at Lafayette was 140-something. I mean, it was crazy. They had 20-something people. They ran out of water in the concession stand. They had like 20-something people that needed IVs in the stands. And so found to get a gritty win on the road there, and then came back home last week and got a good win over South Florida. Every week in college football, man, you got to be prepared. And this team's tough. They're resilient. We're going to battle. We're still learning kind of who we are. We're young in some spots. We're starting a quarterback who had never played a college football snap and was a redshirt freshman right now. So, that's exciting. It's also a little scary early in the year, but I like the DNA of our team. I think we got a lot of fighters. I think we got a lot of grit, and we're going to show up.
I know it's year 1 for you, but I would assume, just knowing your personality from just having you on here, that the goal for you in year 1 was to get that automatic bid for the Group 5. And even going into the season, you knew Kansas State and Oklahoma were going to be difficult, and even losing those games, if you go 10-2, and I know the old cliche, 1 game at a time, and you've got some really tough opponents coming up, but I would assume the goal is still 10-2, and hey, let's get to the postseason. Yeah,
so our program goals, we go over our coaching staff manual every July. My staff absolutely loves it. It's their favorite day of the year. That's kind of sarcastic.
We got that. We caught it. Yeah.
We got to do the staff manual again. But no, in our program goals for the coaching staff this year, our goal number 1 is to win the state of Louisiana. And we only had 2 in-conference or 2 in-state foes this year. It was Southeastern Louisiana, Louisiana Lafayette. we won that. Goal number 2 is win the conference. And we're in the middle of trying to do that right now. We've got plenty of challenges that lie ahead. And goal number 3 for us is win the postseason, whatever that looks like. And in there is college football playoffs. So that's a goal. Like goals for me, you guys know I've got an 11-year-old son. Every time I play him in basketball in the driveway, he loses. I like to win. And so we want to win every time we play. Like there's a reason they got electricity in the scoreboard. It's not just for the fun of it. Like the goal is to win. And so we've got to stay focused on what's right in front of us. We're not good enough to worry about what lies down the road in December or whatever. We got to be really good today and then have the best Friday in college football tomorrow. I love Fridays, and then go play a great game Saturday and just keep showing up each week. But our goals are still intact. And how all that other stuff plays out postseason wise, we'll see what happens, but we got to play good each week.
Speaking of Sam, it looks like he's grown 3 inches since the last time I saw him. Do you have him getting the tees off the field? Did I see a picture of that?
Yeah, man. So, so my guy got to go to Oklahoma, and my chief of staff threw him out there to go get the tee for the kicker. He's playing football. He's playing 5th grade football right now for his school, and he's playing slot receiver and DB nickel. So I'm actually going to watch his game tonight. I tell him he had to miss our Kansas State game because he had a game and he was pissed. Like I'm talking about pissed. And he was crushed. And I was like, hey, dude, don't worry. I'll make it up to you. And he didn't know what I had in the works. But I threw him on the team plane to go to Oklahoma. So 11-year-old getting to run in that environment and go get the tee off the field. Man, he's ate up with football as much as I am. He's on the drug called football, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you, his running style, that still shot photo, looks more receiver than DB. I'll be honest with you. Great form running a route.
That little dude can run. He's fast. I don't know where he gets it from. It must be his mama.
Tulane head coach Jon Sumrall with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. You still sip that Kentucky bourbon to celebrate a win?
There is no doubt, brother. Come on. Last week was Weller Special Reserve post game. So yeah, we every time we win a game, the staff gets a text and it just says bars open, and they know what that means. So after a win, doesn't matter, road, home, whatever, we show up. Guys are welcome to come have a drink. So last week was Green Label Weller.
I know this sounds crazy, but have you even had an opportunity to explore the city you live in now? Because, you take the job and it's just such a blur. And it literally, you guys work 365 days a year with the portal and NIL and everything else. So, is it a legitimate question? Have you and the family, been able to go out and see New Orleans?
Some, we lived here before for 3 years. I was an assistant coach here. And so over a decade ago. So very familiar with the place. Love it here, man. The culture here is second to none. I mean, it's unbelievable. When I first got here, I got to take my son to a Saints-Falcons game, the one that Jameis didn't take the knee on the goal line. That was kind of fun to go watch that game. And then we got to go courtside for Pelicans, and my son got to stand in front of Zion for the national anthem. And I rode in the Mardi Gras parade. My wife did too. We're all in, man. We love the city, love the place, love everything about it. I tell me all the time, if you can't have fun here, you can't have fun. You're boring. And so I think, we find ways to mix it up and get out as much as we can. Now, the work's the work, and this time of the year, I don't exactly get out and explore the city a whole lot and trying to figure out how to win a game each week. And but, man, I think you got to, embrace where you are and love where you are, and could not be more pleased to be in the city of New Orleans and have all the culture stuff we have right at our fingertips right here.
I don't know how all the head coaches you worked for were. If they were really good to work for, if they were hard on their assistants and coordinators. But if I ask Joe Craddock right now, are you a good guy to work for? I mean, do you handle coordinators in a good way, the way you would want to be treated if you were in that position, or have you become one of those guys?
let me go grab Joe. We can just ask him. No, I think my guys would tell you, man, I'm intense. What you see is what you get. But at the end of the day, too, I'm very relational, and I care about people. This game's about people. Everything's about people. And so I believe in being, from a leadership standpoint, transformational, not transactional. What can I do for you, not what can you do for me? Now, I want it to be for the greater good of our organization, and I'm very driven. I haven't really changed probably much from being an assistant. I'm the same guy. maybe to a fault at times. But now it is kind of funny. Like I walk in the offensive staff room, the defensive staff room, and everybody sort of sits up now and they get quiet. And I'm like, man, I used to be one of the guys everybody used to just kind of shoot the breeze with. And now I do tell the environment in the room might change a little just because maybe I'm the head coach, but I hadn't changed, man. I empathize with what our assistants deal with. There's some NCAA rules I think we need to address to help our assistants. I think, we expanded this rule with analysts being allowed to coach on the field, which I think is the best thing for our game because not everybody can coach, which everybody already kind of was coaching anyways, right? And now I think we need to do what basketball's done. Basketball's got 6 assistants, and any of them can go out on the road and recruit at a time, but only 4 can go out at one time. So 4 of the 6 out at a time. Well, I think we should do the same thing in our game. We got 10 full-time assistants that are allowed to go recruit. What I think we need to do in our game is allow everybody to go recruit, but only allow 10 out at a time for quality of life. Because, like, you talk about Craddock and my defense coordinator, Greg Gasparotto, they both got young kids. Well, in the spring, football season's already a grind, and then in the spring they go out and recruit for 5 weeks. It's like it'd be nice to be able to kind of tag out of 16, 17, 18 guys, go tag in and tag out and allow guys to go on the road 2 to 3 days a week. I mean, and that would take care of our guys' quality of life and their family time. And so I'm like last Saturday after the win, the staff gets the bars open text from me. The wives get the text from my wife. And it's like, hey, kids are welcome. Come swim. Like, we're a family, man. We got a very family environment. Sometimes you got to have tough love as a family, but we're always there for each other.
You guys rolling to Birmingham to take on UAB. Rough start for the Blazers, 3 consecutive losses, all by double digits. But going back, watching them against Arkansas and Fayetteville, they can be a difficult out. How well do you know Trent Dilfer, and what are you guys getting into this weekend in Birmingham?
Yeah, so Trent, I've gotten to know him better since joining this league. Good guy. They're talented, man. Like, that UAB team came here last year. At that time, Tulane had 3 wins, which we have right now. At that time, UAB had 1 win, which they have right now. And in the second quarter, the score is 20-7 with a few minutes left in the second quarter. All right? With less than a couple minutes left in the game last year, Tulane had clawed back in, and they were up 28-23 and had to score to put the game away on a 4th down play. Like, so it's gonna be a dogfight, man. They're good. They're talented. Like, went into Arkansas, I showed our team the scoreboard shot. I'm like, in our team meeting, I'm like, guys, these guys had Arkansas on the ropes. Like, so we're not good enough to just think we're going to show up anywhere and just win. This team, they got great quarterbacks. I've heard Zeno may be hurt. I don't know, but the backup Kitten has got a huge arm. I watched him when he was at Florida. The receivers are fast. The O-line's veteran. They got 3 seniors and 2 juniors starting the O-line. 2 senior tight ends. The running backs are good. The defense, they got a boatload of good transfers. Like, they're a really good football team. And I think their record doesn't show really what they're about talent-wise. And we've got to bring it, man. If we don't bring it, we'll get exposed.
Coach, we appreciate the time. That blue helmet over your right shoulder is the best helmet you'll wear. I love that thing right there.
Man, we got the coolest colors in college football, man. Yeah, that's fancy right there.
It is. It's a good helmet. Always great catching up with you, Coach. We wish you the best this year. We appreciate the time.
Thank y'all. Good chat and roll wave.
Take care. That is Coach Jon Sumrall, head coach, Tulane Green Wave. I love that guy, by the way.
Yeah, I love that guy too. We've talked about it. He's going to end up being a superstar. Yeah. Things to come at Tulane, and then we'll see what happens after that. I do agree on the helmet. Maddie was asking me this past weekend. She was like, "Do you like the color combination of Tulane?"
It works.
And I was like, for whatever reason, it really does work. Like I never would have imagined in a million years those colors would work together, but it does.
Green and blue, man. You get it in the ocean all the time, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Greenish and bluish mix.
Good point.
Yeah, maybe not as harsh as the colors are defined there, but yeah.
That seems like one of those, like I've talked about Corvallis and Pullman. Tulane's on-campus stadium seems like one of those fun environments.
It really does. I like the fact that they just don't even mess with the dome anymore. It's all Ullman Stadium.
But I've said they always play early.
They do.
They're
It
even
does seem
playing
like-
early on the road this week.
Yeah, it seems like they get an 11 o'clock start there a lot, and it always looks really, really hot, but it does seem like a fun environment. I watched that Kansas State game. It absolutely was.
Dan Orlovsky coming up at the top of the hour. The show being brought to you by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. Tell us about New York Butcher.
Yeah, the New York Butcher Shop, great place to stop by, pick up the finest in meats, whether it's steak, chicken, ribs. They've got fantastic meatloaf, the incredible sides, great selection of fine wines and desserts. The New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop. Get in and see Jim and the fine folks. 2 locations, Highway 119 in Greystone, the original location in Cava Heights. New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, UCA, with over 35 urologists on hand. 16 great locations across Alabama, treating all your urological needs from prostate health to kidney stones, vasectomies, and anything else. But maintaining health so important, guys, as you age from your 20s to your 30s, 30s to 40s, and so on. Visit urologycentersalabama.com or call that number, 205-930-0920. Make an appointment today, urologycentersalabama.com.
You watch a guy like Jon Sumrall and the way he handles himself, and there are certain guys that talk and can't coach, and certain guys that can coach and can't talk. He seems so far to be doing them both well.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder if, I mean, I know it's just 1 year at Tulane, but if a Florida comes open or something like that, do they look his way?
Yeah, I mean, look, he ends up, 9-3, 10-2 in
Or
year
Arkansas,
one.
yeah.
Jon Sumrall is going to have a opportunity to get a lot of different jobs. I just had our buddy Chop text. I love that effing guy.
Yeah, I mean, he sells you, man. I sit here and watch interviews. When he was at Troy, it was the same way. At Tulane, he's the type of guy as an assistant or as a player, I feel like I'd run through a wall for that guy.
Yep, absolutely. Good guy to work for, according to Craddock. So that always works out good. You guys remember Craddock, big
Joe
star
Craddock?
around here? Yep.
Yeah, Briarwood, right? Played at Briarwood?
Briarwood quarterback.
And wasn't he the OC for Chad Morris?
At Arkansas, yeah, it did not go well there.
No, it was not his fault. It's time for the McCurry Spotlight today. It is Brownie's Thursday tradition. Hopefully we didn't talk about it all with the green wave here. Forrester has some picture support here. It's our friends at McCurry Car and Van and Truck Rental, wherever you are in the state.
That's right. They can help you out, especially in North Alabama, Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Coleman, 2nd Avenue Northwest, Skyland Boulevard, and Tuscaloosa. You can reserve your rental today, 256-559-1003. Or McCurryRentals.com. That's 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com.
The College Football Spotlight.
College football's best traditions.
Not the best slate for this segment this week, boys. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you up front.
Oh, let me see if I can guess where you went.
You will not.
There's no way?
Oh, I bet we can.
Yeah, I think you went to Jonesboro, Arkansas, because it's South Alabama and Arkansas State. This is their annual 6 p.m. mosquito swatting game where they swat mosquitoes at night in Jonesboro.
I am going to say, just because it is going to be the most diverse fan base interaction that you've seen in the history of college football, when Miami goes and leaves the state of Florida for the first time this year and goes out to Berkeley, you've got some kind of weird Berkeley.
Yeah, I wish. I kind of looked at that, couldn't really find anything. I did think about that.
Do they sell heroin at their concession stands?
I could not find that they do, but I can't deny it also.
Could it be Sanford's home game against Virginia Military Institute, VMI, what they do at VMI?
It is not. No, I did not go that route.
Could it be West Virginia in Stillwater to take Oklahoma?
Nope, couldn't find anything. I give up. Jim was closer than anyone. The first leg of the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy is being played this week, guys, as Air Force takes on Navy. The Commander-in-Chief's Trophy, the brainchild of Air Force General George B. Simler. And he was Air Force Academy Athletic Director. He went to President Nixon at the time and said, hey, here's an idea. Scott shows you what the Commander-in-Chief Trophy actually looks like. Why don't we find a way for all three military institutions to play one another and give away the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy? That didn't – actually, it has not always happened. Air Force used to play Army one year and Navy the next. They would play them every other year. So they set it up so everybody plays and we can give away the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy. And it has been done annually since. In the 1980s, President Reagan did it at the White House. President Clinton did it actually at the Army team on site at Veterans Stadium after they won the Army-Navy game back in 96. From 03 to 07, President George W. Bush presented it at the White House. President Obama has done it. President Biden will do it. President Trump has done it. Everybody gets involved. I don't know if you guys remember this, but in the 80s and 90s, the winner of the trophy, the Commander-in-Chief Trophy, actually got a bid to the Liberty Bowl if they were bowl eligible. Do you remember that?
I do not remember that.
Yeah.
For a brief time, yeah.
Yeah, graded, got that invitation to the Liberty Bowl.
If they were bowl eligible.
If they were bowl eligible. That was the big if by that. I ask you guys, who do you think has won the most Commander-in-Chief trophies?
I would say that it is Navy.
I would go.
Maybe Army. I don't know.
See, I'm going to go Air Force because if this didn't start until Nixon was there were a lot of down years for Navy and Army, and Air Force has consistently been in a conference, and I think they've been most consistent along the way.
I'll stick with Navy.
47 trophies. Air Force has won 21, Navy 16, and Army 10. Leg one this weekend, and Colorado Springs. Beautiful. Is that Colorado Springs? Is that where they play?
Yes.
It is. Yes.
Beautiful Colorado Springs. As Air Force takes on Navy.
Always an altitude game.
It's a
when you battle Air Force.
Absolutely. It's a 10 o'clock body clock game for Air Force, too, because it's 11 a.m. CBS kick. So Navy at Air Force, 11 o'clock.
I don't see Air Force winning the Commander-in-Chief trophy this year.
They have struggled.
I don't either.
Bad year for them.
But it's Navy this week, and I think that was on my list of possible upset alerts, was Air Force over Navy.
I need to look at the point spread on that one. Air Force has not had any offense. I looked at them too, Jim, but they're averaging like 12 points per game.
Yeah, and Horvath has been really good.
I did not go with him with Air Force because of I used him earlier this year against Baylor and was upset with him, so I refused to pick him again.
Navy a 10-point road favorite in this one at MyBookie.ag.
They are winning by an average of 23 points per game.
Yeah. Navy's a pretty good team.
Yeah.
It's pretty good time.
Army's winning by an average of 26 points per game. I mean, they're both beating the brakes off everybody.
That's our spotlight today, brought to you by our friends at McCurry Van and Car Rental.
McCurryRentals.com is where you start. Best place to start. They get you in and out quick. McCurryRentals.com.
Also, Brownie, you said you made a mistake earlier.
I did.
In the show. That gets us to our Gray's Tree Service Dead Wood segment. What did you screw up earlier in the show, Brandon?
I said that when Mike Price got the job, his first visit was Alabama quarterback Brody Croyle on the recruiting trail. That was, in fact, incorrect, Jim.
I did the coach's show for the guy that did that.
Dennis Franchione.
So
I screwed that one up. That is old me, Coach Fran. I think he had actually Croyle. Somebody was saying in the MyBookie.ag chat room he had committed to DeBose. And then once DeBose was fired, he opened his commitment or his recruiting back up. And Franchione had to go to Rainbow City. I should have remembered that because I think I remember privately Franchione told people he doesn't fit my system.
That's exactly
and people
right.
were like, if you want Alabama fans on your side, you'll go recruit them either way.
Yeah. No, I remember that
fit
exactly.
his system.
Yeah, I mean, I swear that really did happen.
Yeah, 100% was not his system. Have you messed anything up today?
I'm sure I have. We'll just call it three different things I've messed up. If you're looking to take care of that dead wood, whether it's in your home or business, you've got a lot out there. You see some dead trees. Gray's is the company you need to call, family owned and operated for over 25 years right here in Birmingham. Gray's is trusted by nearly every golf course in town. The Birmingham Zoo, there is no competition. Gray's maintains a fleet of specialized cranes and lifts to get the job done right, prevent damage to your home. You've probably seen them rolling around town. They've been at my house just a couple of months ago extracting the 4 dead pines. Make the phone call that I made, 205-281-6100. You can scan that QR code or visit graystree.com.
As Ashley says in the MyBookie.ag chat room, you are correct, Brown. Franchione's first visit was Croyle. Price's first visit was the Pink Pony down at Gulf Shores. Does that exist still?
I think Pink Pony, Pink Pony
was in Pensacola.
No,
that was Artie's Angels or whatever. Pink Pony is
but Pink Pony was the T right there in Gulf Shores.
Yeah, but Pink Pony's a pub. It's not a strip club.
No.
Yeah. But Pink Pony in Atlanta is a strip club, and I don't know if it still exists or not.
But the one in Gulf Shores,
on the T.
Is it still alive?
I think so.
Or is that where our boy has built Coastal?
No. That's further down. That is the legitimate T when you come down the Parkway, and that's kind of where the hangout is down there.
Yeah.
And then you've got to go back towards Floribama to get to Coastal.
So Orange Beach has built up so much, and I come in from the other way, I don't actually make it all the way to the Pink Pony pub.
Tyler's got photos up. I assume those are recent photos.
It was taken a week ago.
A week ago, you're right, Tyler.
Yeah, Pink Pony. I go to Sea and Suds.
Yeah,
which is a little bit further down.
I've been to Sea and Suds.
Same setup.
Yeah. I've been there. So I never really go all the way into Gulf Shores anymore.
You're more Orange Beach.
I'm down in Orange Beach.
Yeah, because we park, and if we're staying at the Phoenix, you don't need to leave. You've got Old River Grill, you've got the Yacht Club, you've got Waffle House, and you got Floribama.
So the Pink Pony is where, in my 20s, I was really, really overserved with a ton of Bud Lights. And we sat, and it was on the back stairs of the Pink Pony. We sat there and watched a water spout offshore. And, later on, I learned that I'm basically watching a tornado on water. I don't know why I was sitting there watching it with no fear that it was going to come on land. We were just sitting there watching it, amazed.
No.
Just sitting there watching. That is amazing what that is.
I love when it rains at the beach. You don't have a lot of options. I like going to a place like Pink Pony and sitting and looking at the water, just watching the rain and eating, this is so weird, oysters and draft beer.
Yeah.
Like that combination, watching rain on water is a great day.
It is a mood, exactly. You know, if you're there 6 days for a beach trip, I'm okay with one rain day.
I like one rain day. If you're there a week, I like a rain day.
Yeah, really crazy. All right. Approaching the top of the hour here, Dan Orlovsky coming back up. We'll get to the NFL. 55 straight days of football starts today. Our friends at Gutter Cap want to remind you that you can get those gutters capped. Never have to worry about them ever again, LT.
Yeah, 823-2212. Had a conversation with our man Chris Stewart on the way in this morning. Great dude. Will come out and give you an absolutely free estimate. Right now, 45% off the retail price. Gutter Cap patented aluminum panel system. Fits over most existing gutters. You'll never have to clean the gutters out again. It's a dirty, dangerous job. You don't want to get the ladder out. You slip, you fall, you snap the neck, and die. You're no good to the wife or kids. Cap it, don't snap it. 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at ryanbrownlive.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
NASCAR is back with the Yellowwood 500 at Talladega, Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Get your tickets right now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or call 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Don't forget to enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience presented by Cool Race. The weekend includes Buck and Dega, a rodeo and fireworks on Friday night, Jake Owen in concert on Saturday, and the Yellowwood 500 on Sunday. Get your tickets at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show, we'll talk NFL football with Dan Orlovsky coming up in a second. Big news yesterday for Auburn fans, still on the front page of ESPN.com. Auburn adding to their big haul, flipping, they call it at ESPN, 4-star quarterback from Notre Dame. That is Deuce Knight, who is now committed to Auburn, 6'4.5". 208, I think, is his weight size, and he's a lefty dual-threat quarterback. Hugh Freeze, the primary recruiter, has worked hard to get him to flip from Notre Dame. He's now an Auburn Tiger. That's got in the 24/7 team rankings, Auburn up to number 3 behind Ohio State, Alabama, and Auburn if recruiting ended today, but it doesn't until mid-December. But pretty good company there to be in for Hugh Freeze with another big recruit there. Orlovsky in a second. This hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Champy's Chicken right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew would love to say hi to you today. They opened the door about 4 minutes ago. They said, hey, open the doors. Get that chicken ready. Hey, here we go. Can't get the chicken ready, boss, because we only cooked to order. That's right. Forget what I said. Wait till we get orders for chicken. That's what you do when you get in there. You order that fried chicken. It's cooked to order, brined overnight, though. Hand-cut chicken fingers, Mississippi Delta recipe, tamales, and so much more. Say hi to Sterling, maybe even Megan, or some other folks there at Champy's, champyschicken.com, perfect for your tailgate.
No one is going to feel sorry for Kirk Herbstreit, and Kirk Herbstreit's not asking you to feel sorry for him. What are you laughing at?
I guarantee I said this to Forrester today.
About the little video he sends out where he shows where he's flying each week? Is that what you're talking about?
I just told him, I said, he's got the Bucs in Atlanta, the Bucs and Falcons tonight in Atlanta. How sweet would that game have been last week to where he just comes over to Tuscaloosa for game day and do the game? It happens to be in Atlanta tonight where he's got to fly to Berkeley.
Well, no. First, he flies back to Louisville for his son's game. That's part of his deal.
Okay.
Now, this is all private, right? Private jet. Flies back to Louisville. When that game's over, flies all the way from Louisville to Berkeley. It says he gets in at 4 a.m. I guess that's Pacific time. I don't know. I think it's Eastern time because it says game day starts at 12. Anyway, so 4 a.m. body clock, gets to Berkeley, does game day, then he's got to fly all the way to Fayetteville. So Atlanta to Louisville to Berkeley to Fayetteville.
I will say this. I hate air travel, and I've only had the fortune of being able to travel privately a handful of times, and it is night and day. And it's so much faster, and it's so accessible, and you don't have to deal with all of the BS with everything else. So he's basically just laid out with anything he wants with probably the best TV monitor. But, I mean, he is living large, and that is not regular travel.
But look at these times, 2 a.m. to Louisville, and then he does his son's Friday night game, which I respect the fact that he goes to that length to make sure he sees his son play football.
It'd be hard to miss that, though, especially when you've got the pull of Kirk Herbstreit.
4 a.m. to Berkeley, then they've got game day at noon, so these are Eastern times.
Yeah, 9 a.m. to 12. Is what it's saying. So those are Eastern.
Eastern times, I'm sorry, yeah. And then all the way to Fayetteville. He gets there like 4 o'clock, and then they got the game that night against Tennessee. I mean, that's a heck of a travel.
I mean, it is a grind.
It's a grind. I mean, even flying private, that's a lot in the air.
If you had to do that commercial, that'd take a year off your life. It really would.
Couldn't do it.
And he wouldn't make it.
He's not in Nashville anymore, right?
I think he is. I think he's in Franklin.
It's really confusing because his son is playing
in Louisville.
In Ohio, I think, actually. I think they're playing a team in Louisville, but he plays in Ohio, in Cincinnati area, I think. But he's got a house in Franklin, so I'm not really sure, where all he's living, to be honest with you, Jimmy.
Just looked like that location where it's starting. Didn't look like it was Nashville, Tennessee.
But no, it does look like starting in Columbus. You're right about that, going to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's talk NFL football. Buccaneers and Falcons tonight. My Tampa Bay Buccaneers 3-1 against Forrester's Falcons 2-2. A win by the Bucs tonight gives a little buffer there in the old NFC South early in the season.
Are you baking tonight?
I hope I'm baking tonight, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Y'all been baking?
it's such a weird week span with Tampa Bay because they get walked off their own field against Denver, and that Denver defense is legitimate, but then they completely just skull drug Philadelphia this past week.
Boy, they did. That was impressive.
And Philadelphia, I know our next guest was talking about them this morning, and they seem really, really lost right now.
They do. Dan Orlovsky is with us, ESPN. He joins us each week courtesy of mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at mybookie.ag. What is up, first of all, Dan? How you doing?
I'm doing great after I just heard skull drug. I'm going to steal that one for sure.
That's where you just grab them, you just drag them right off the field.
Hey,
right?
before we get into it, how excited...
You may want to look up the history before you do it on the air.
Yeah, we don't even know. We don't even know. Yeah.
So this is my sarcasm coming out. How much do you love doing That Boy Bad?
No, I actually do love doing it.
Okay.
I love Harry. I've known Harry for a long time now. He's much more entertaining than I could ever be, type of thing. So I love doing it with him, man.
Yeah, I would tell you I'm the oldest guy on this set. So you would tell you need to tell Greeny he need to improve his game if he's going to be doing it, or maybe sit that one out. His moves are not the same as the rest of the people on the set.
Yeah, I think there's a common denominator with some of that. Also, I think at his age, he is what he is, type of thing.
That's right.
I don't think the lack of rhythm is going away.
So if you had to be and I'm sure you could be a great quarterback coach, but if you had to take one of these guys and you were going to have them for the next 5 years for your franchise, Jalen Hurts or Trevor Lawrence?
Um,
Good thing you're not driving.
Yeah, I would say Trevor Lawrence. You know, I still believe, in his talent. I think he's a better thrower and more like natural thrower than Jalen. I think both of those guys are at a unique place right now because Trevor is just so stuck mentally. And, the hope is you can get him back. I think you can. The hope is that you can, but you just never know with athletes and their mindsets. And Jalen has got such great work ethic, but there's just been a regression since the Super Bowl. And you're trying to figure out it's not for a lack of work ethic. I don't think the scheme is great right now for Philadelphia and their pieces. So both of those guys, though, you would have to really tap into kind of where they are mentally in their own game.
Are Hurts and his head coach okay? Like, I was watching that post game.
There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, they can't be. Not the way Jalen was talking in that post game.
Yeah, there's no way. And if you just watch how the football team played in that game, like when I cut that tape on, I was like, that was bad, man. Just the only person that pops on tape is Saquon. And you watch the style of play, and I said this morning, like, when was the last time we saw Jalen get outside the pocket and do something really cool for a guy who's just a remarkable athlete? We don't see it. When was the last time we saw this team offensively just jump on someone and gather a lead? So I don't think because of the history and the reporting of the past and just the way that they're playing and the body language and stuff, I don't believe that they're in a good place.
A lot made of Tom Brady's comments back at Baker Mayfield this past week during the broadcast of the Bucs and Eagles game. You played in the league. You're around a lot of different personalities in your job right now. You can win different ways, right? I mean, I understand what Baker was saying, but Brady had his way of doing it too. You can have success both ways, right, Dan?
Probably not sustained, and certainly not the way that Tom did. There's definitely different ways that you can win for a short period of time, but the sustainability and the long-term domination that Tom in New England displayed. I practiced against Tom a couple of times, played against him a couple of times, but when you do the joint practices, and I will never forget a moment, and we were up in New England practicing against them, and it was at the end of a hot summer practice, and they went into 2-minute drill. And in the course of the 2-minute drill, he starts off and gets a completion, and then, which was a first down, and like they get to line of scrimmage, and Julian Edelman is running back, and he's screaming at Edelman, second play of the 2-minute drive in a practice, screaming at him for not running. That play is an incomplete. Edelman's kind of joggy-ish back, mother effing Edelman to get back to the line of scrimmage, same type of thing. And then like 3 plays in a row where he just dog cussed Edelman for his effort to get back to the line of scrimmage. So, like to his point, it wasn't daycare, and there's definitely different ways to get it done, but not the way that he did.
I hate the international games for a lot of reasons, especially the London games, because I don't want to really wake up on a Sunday morning at 8:30. I would rather see a noon, 1 o'clock kickoff Eastern time. I think the Vikings right now, coming off another win on the road, best point differential right now in the NFL. They don't care where they play. But if you're the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, the salty veteran, and your offense scored all of 9 points, and now you've got to get up and go to London, how miserable do you think that is for Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I think that sometimes the London trip could be good for teams that I guess you can spin it and say, oh, man, it's good for us to get away after a poor performance and whatnot. And that could be the case for the Jets. It depends on when you travel and all that stuff. Playing this Minnesota defense is difficult and a challenge. I don't care where you're playing them. So, for the Jets, they really got to – the funny part is coming off of last week and the whole conversation about cadence and – is it a problem in New York or not? Like, it's needed for success against Minnesota. It is paramount to be used for success against Minnesota. So, I think the Jets' perspective is, maybe getting away from a lot of the conversation off such a poor performance brings them a little bit more together, which certainly feels like is kind of a necessity for them.
Dan Orlovsky is with us from ESPN. He joins us each week courtesy of mybookie.ag, code next round, where you find the Falcons a 2-point favorite tonight at home over the Bucs for the Thursday night game on Amazon. The code next round gives you double your initial deposit when you use it right there at mybookie.ag. Which team becomes a Super Bowl contender if they add Devontae Adams? Who needs to add them to improve their Super Bowl chances?
Yeah, number one, I think there's a lot of teams, right, that fall into that group, but in the reality part of it that matters as well, I would say number one, it's the New York Jets, no question. I thought the Jets were a Super Bowl contender going into the season. I don't feel as strongly about that just because I don't think that the offense is nearly as creative as you need to be in my mind in 2024. And then also Garrett Wilson and Aaron have not taken off, so they can't play. They're not good versus man coverage right now. So definitely Jets. I think they get back into that grouping. The Pittsburgh Steelers definitely get back into that or ascend into that group. Probably the Baltimore Ravens. Those would be the three that one realistically, and maybe the Saints. Yeah. So realistically attached to them, but also definitely get added. Washington, I get the addition. I don't think the defense is good enough to sit here and say that's a Super Bowl contender. And Dallas, the same. I don't believe that he makes them a Super Bowl contender while he makes them better.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, with that said, I think coming into the year, if you would have asked somebody, hey, you can have a quarterback in the NFC for the next 5 years, who would it be? Most people would say Jordan Love, the way he played in the second half of last year. He comes back from injury. He looked loose with the football, at home against Minnesota. If I asked you that question, would Jaden Daniels be your guy for the next 5 years in the NFC?
I love Jaden coming out of school. I still, that question's, if you gave me Brock Purdy, I'm going to win a ton of games. You give me Jordan Love, I'm going to win a ton of games. You give me Jaden Daniels, I feel like I'm going to win. So there's probably a couple. Obviously, if you took the money out of the equation, I think it grows the group even more. But with Jaden and how cheap he is for the next 3-4 years, you're probably sitting there saying, yes, give me Jaden Daniels, because the cost is going to be significantly less. Obviously, I loved him out of school. I thought he should have been the number one pick. He's playing at a remarkable level. So yeah, you feel, if you're Washington, that's why you're sitting there going, man, we got ourselves one, and they're gonna be in the conversation for the next couple of seasons because of it.
Would it be different if Jaden would have gone to Chicago? Watching and being a Rams guy, watching Caleb Williams last week. Look, he had one really nice pass, that first touchdown at home. But I just I don't know if he's being utilized right. Am I wrong here? I mean, with Jaden Daniels in that system, would it be any different?
Yeah, I think it definitely would be different because Jaden's skill set is different. Caleb still holds on to the ball too long. Like that's the main difference between those guys. Jaden gets it out, Caleb holds it. I don't think he would be kind of on the rocket ship start that he has in Washington right now. But I think that in Chicago, it's a tough situation. Keenan's got to get back healthy. So But I believe the thing, I said this about Jaden, the two things that he does that really transcend scheme, the ball placement is real, and how quick he sees things is real. So I do believe that he would be playing better in Chicago than Caleb.
How long, Dan, did it take for your eyesight to return after that Monday night game you had to watch?
Oh my gosh, dude.
How bad
that
was
was a tough game, man.
It was as bad in my basement as it was in your booth. Don't worry.
Yeah, we tried. We tried. I got 2 text messages from people who said, you've been on an 0-16 team, and this is the worst game you've ever seen. So that was a tough one. But, yeah, it's obviously Miami's in a tough spot with all their injuries, let alone at quarterback. And then, Tennessee kind of in the same situation with how poorly started that game and then bang, the injury. So it was a tough one.
No, I had 2 Titans fans in the basement with me, and I was like, I hope you guys put Levis back in. I think Mason Rudolph's a better quarterback. I'd rather have to face Levis.
Yeah. He definitely, the experience shows for Mason. Will is still so young and learning so much. And, with Mason, how quickly he sees things is a benefit to their offense. But both those teams, I think Tennessee's the better football team. I really do. I think Miami's just so depleted injury-wise.
Yeah. All right, that is Dan Orlovsky. See him all weekend long on ESPN talking NFL. We appreciate the time, Dan. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. You too.
All right, buddy. Take care. Dan with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Again, mybookie.ag brings you Dan Orlovsky, where, again, you find the Falcons a 2-point favorite tonight at home over Tampa. 43.5 is your total in that game. You can play that game, all the NFL action in Week 5, all the college football action in Week 6, which starts tonight as well with Troy and Texas State and several other games at mybookie.ag. Code next round. When you sign on, you're going to make an initial deposit to play with, right? You use code next round. They're going to double that. That is free money for you to play with. Win once, it is yours and yours forever. mybookie.ag, code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag.
And our friends at Wonder Fan getting you ready for the next big game.
Yeah, Wonder Fan, first of its kind stadium rewards app where sports fans earn real rewards simply by cheering for their favorite team. All you need to do, head to the App Store, download the app, WUNDER Fan. That is Wonder Fan. Once you do that, check in once you're at the stadium, let your earnings grow. It's that easy. During each game you attend, you'll earn in the background once you press start, and once you have enough earnings, you can redeem for cash vouchers to your favorite retailers like Dick's, Champion, Lululemon, 47 Brand, and more. There's even weekly ticket giveaways. You can use your points to enter. New rewards are added weekly. Again, just head to the App Store, search WonderFan, WUNDERFAN. Start being paid for your fan loyalty. WonderFan, it pays to be a fan.
We talked earlier about the big Missouri-Texas A&M game, the biggest in the SEC this weekend. It's a rivalry game for Auburn as they play at Georgia 2:30 on ABC. Peyton Thorne trying to rally his troops, talking about last year's game at Jordan-Hare.
Yeah, obviously remember that game last year here in our place, and like you said, we had a chance in the fourth quarter, and so unfortunately wasn't able to come out on top. But obviously they're a great team, they're a championship team who's done it before, and have a lot of respect for them. And but at the same time, you take from last year that, like you said, we can play with the top teams in the country. We proved that multiple times, and so. For us, it's just by executing, putting together a good week's work, practice, and then trusting what our coaches are giving us, and then doing our best to go out there on Saturday and execute to the best of our ability and get in the end zone.
I mean, technically, talent-wise, Auburn's a better team this year than they were last year, right? Talent-wise?
I would think, yeah.
On paper?
Yeah.
Georgia on paper, probably not as good as they were last year.
No, I don't think they're as good as they were.
But there's no way we're expected to see the kind of game we saw last year between these two teams.
Yeah, here's the problem. Follow me here, guys. 42-10, 27-6, 27-10, 13-7, not too bad. 34-7, 45-7. I mean, those are the recent games Auburn has played in Athens. They do not play in that stadium well at all.
Yeah,
it's a terrible place.
In 7 straight wins. I mean, Kirby has is as big as the Alabama problem is. He has dominated Auburn.
He has. Kirby has owned Auburn.
This game even more than the Alabama game. Follow me here.
Okay.
This game more than the Alabama game shows Auburn fans the difference in their roster from the top of the SEC. But for the rivalry reasons, Jordan-Hare Stadium, they're able to play Alabama tougher despite having lesser talent. But this Georgia game is a gap.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think this is what's got to be frustrating for Auburn fans. Like, In year 2 under Hugh, you're not supposed to be as good as Georgia. But going into this game knowing you have no shot at winning the game, that's got to be frustrating. There should never be a time where Auburn goes into a game knowing they have no shot at winning.
I mean, they're 24-point underdogs. What would you imagine if the Iron Bowl were this weekend? Is the same point spread, probably 24 in Tuscaloosa? Yeah, about the same.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Because we have to say in Tuscaloosa, because if it was in Jordan-Hare,
if it's in Jordan-Hare,
it'd probably be 13.
It'd be 13, and it'd be a last second win by Alabama, probably. Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. And I'd lay the 24 in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
I'd probably take the 13.5 in Jordan-Hare.
It's just they cannot win in Athens, and and in fact, a lot of those games in Athens, they just start out so poorly for Auburn. They're fighting out of a hole right away, and that's what you fear. The propensity for this team to turn the ball over. They are still dead last in the country in turnover margin. They're turning it over. Only East Carolina has turned it over more, but East Carolina's actually creating a few turnovers. They're -4 in turnover margin with 15 turnovers. Auburn's got 14 turnovers, and they're -11.
Yeah, and
they're not creating turnovers.
To Brooks Austin, the film dude, yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think when you have this big of a sample size, I don't think the turnovers are just going to go away. Like, to me, Peyton Thorne did about as good of a job last week outside of the pick six as he could protecting the football. Like, going into Athens, I mean, if I put the over-under on Auburn turnovers at 2.5.
I would take the over. Especially on the road in a hostile environment. They hadn't even had to play on the road yet.
But if they turn it over 3 times, they get completely blown out.
They get walked out.
And they're coming off a week where Kirby's going to be like, guys, we lost the turnover margin in Tuscaloosa.
Right. Yeah, and it killed us.
And by the way, we didn't sack Jalen Milroe one time.
Yep.
Like, if I'm Peyton Thorne, I'm like, oh God, this is going to be
Kirby all week long.
Yeah.
All you guys think you're going to play in the NFL? We didn't get to him one time.
Yeah, no, the Georgia defense is hated this week.
And I know this offensive line, and that is impressive for Alabama. And I think a lot of it has to do with decision-making by Milroe now. But he was sacked 42, 44 times last year.
Yeah.
And for them to go up against Georgia in that type of game, that offensive game that broke out, and to not be sacked one time was pretty incredible.
And this stuff starts to stack up for Auburn. Like the goal line stop down there for Oklahoma, that doesn't count as a turnover. That's a turnover. I mean, you can count it as a turnover if you want or not. You had points there. You choose to go for it on 4th down. I wasn't crazy about the play call with Sam Jackson. But that aside, that's a turnover. I mean, you left the goal line without points.
By the way, we will not see that play call again this year.
I wouldn't think so. Not in that situation.
Yeah. I mean, virtually ran it twice.
Yeah.
It's something you fell in love with in practice, and it didn't work in the game. All right, one more big thing before we get to the next break. After LT tells us about our friends at HydroLive.
Yeah, HydroLive, a great place to go. B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, IV therapy, all under one roof, and now weight loss therapy from our friends at HydroLive Therapy. If you're tired of feeling stuck in your weight loss goals, discover a personalized approach that works with our friends at HydroLive Therapy's weight loss therapy. HydroLive combines hydration therapy with targeted weight loss treatments. They provide a comprehensive approach to weight management. You can book your appointment online. Go to hydrolivetherapy.com. Walk-ins welcome. Very important. Mention the next round, 20% off all the great services from our friends at HydroLive Therapy. Open daily, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. 2 locations in Birmingham, 1 in Tuscaloosa. Again, make sure you mention the next round and ask about those memberships as well.
And we're racing at NASCAR in Talladega this weekend, the world's fastest speedway. It's Talladega Super Speedway, the 2.66 mile tri-oval there. Unique track, high banks. If you've never been, it's worth going just for the people watching. Spring race, fall race. This weekend you get a rodeo on Friday night. You get a Jake Owen concert with your ticket on Saturday night. And, of course, the Yellowwood 500. Don't forget to upgrade to the immersive garage experience where the top 22 cars have their garage open to you as a fan right in a big food and drink area. You just step into the garage area and enjoy the up-close and personal experience thanks to our friends at Coolray and Talladega Super Speedway. Tickets all the way up to race time at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Number 1 team in the country, Alabama, on the road at Vanderbilt this weekend. Chances of that game being a loss for Alabama is?
Extremely low.
1%.
1%.
Yeah.
All right. Texas,
Alabama almost a 4-touchdown favorite in that one.
Texas doesn't play. Ohio State hosting Iowa. Chance of an Iowa win in that game?
3%.
3%.
Well, I was going to go a touch higher.
Yeah. Iowa, at least you're getting so right now, the schedule that Ohio State has played is 131st easiest schedule right now in college football.
So it is almost the easiest.
Almost
There's only
the
133
easiest that
teams,
they had played. And you look at Iowa, this is a team that is great against the run. They've yet to allow 90 yards on the ground. They've got a guy in Caleb Johnson who has gone 119 and 2 touchdowns at least in every game. So they can run the football. Tim Lester's offense looks a lot different. So I think this is somewhat of a test for Ohio State, but I don't think they can lose this game.
20-point underdog, Iowa. I was going to say 5%.
Tennessee at Arkansas. Chance the Vols lose this game.
I would say that is up to 20%.
I was going to go a little lower at 15. But
getting interesting. Got into the double digits there.
We're at 13.5 in that one at mybookie.ag. So Tennessee about a 2-touchdown favorite on the road. That's a significant thing.
Here's the only thing I would ask. Tennessee in the last 20 quarters has only given up 1 touchdown or 2 touchdowns to Oklahoma late. Can Taylor Green avoid the mistakes, and can they consistently, red zone, can they punch it in instead of settling for field goals?
He would have to have a Jalen Milroe-like performance of taking the team on his back to pull the upset there. Georgia hosting Auburn. Chance of an Auburn win?
3%.
Yeah, about
3%. Not the 1%er Vandy.
No.
Oregon hosting Michigan State. Oregon, there's been just something off about them in every game. They've not looked clean in every game.
Yeah, look, I really do believe the pick six, and I know it affected me more than most because we didn't get to cover it 25.5, but I do think if they get in there, they go up 35-3, that game looks a lot different. Really, they've been a little bit off. The only thing I would say, Michigan State a little bit better than expected in year one under Jonathan Smith. And his last 2 trips to Eugene in 2020 and 2022, they came out winners.
Keep in mind that's
Oregon State.
That's a Friday night game, and you're right. That experience at Oregon State, you got to think helps Jonathan Smith a little bit, but also Dan Lanning's staff is prepared for Jonathan Smith, so there's that familiarity too. But 23.5-point favorite, so they're favored. Oregon is over Michigan State by the same number Alabama is on the road over Vanderbilt. To put in perspective what Vegas thinks is the gap between those two teams.
UCLA at Penn State.
That was going to be bet my life game. Like if you had one of these games where, okay, you're taking bullet to head if this underdog wins the game.
Have you seen the point spread, Dunaway? Do you know what? I know Lance knows.
I think it's 34.
No, it's 27.5.
27.5 at mybookie.ag. That's a Big Ten game. By the way, big noon kickoff Big Ten game.
Yeah.
27.5.
I would have it at 34.5.
But that is the one game, like I would almost go 0% that UCLA can win that game.
I think I would too. UCLA is incredibly bad.
And then there's the other 3 top 10 games where I think losing for the top 10 team is on the table. Washington is
they're the favorite.
Is playing host to Michigan.
Yeah. They're beating Michigan.
Yeah, Washington's favored in this game, yeah.
Texas A&M is playing host to Missouri. We've talked about that one.
They're favored.
Think they win the game.
And then Miami's at Cal coming up this weekend, late night game, and Mario Cristobal talks about the ability to try to keep the intensity going for this unit, for this squad that in the past, when they started to have success in the recent years, they get the big head and they fall apart. Here's Mario.
I think every program needs it if you want to attain the things you want to throughout the course of the year. Football and winning is hard, I think people lose sight, and I guess maybe what's the best way to put this? I mean, football is a 4-quarter game and overtime if necessary, and people get distracted when it's not domination from play one. Well, you know what? Domination may come in the form of a 50-0 game. It may come in the form of a last-second play on any given Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. But it is a full 4-quarter game, and I think that understanding that winning is hard because people have good players, and keeping intensity and focus really high is always a challenge as the season progresses, but it's also what separates the really good teams from the ones that might be kind of good but can fall off.
And that's going to be the challenge for them, because and they are better suited than most because they play in front of very few people at home. And going to Cal, the Auburn fans that were there recently last year, more Auburn fans in Cal in an empty stadium. They loved the atmosphere, but it was not intensity. I don't know how many people show up for game day either.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know how big of a deal that is on the Berkeley campus. Look, this is the best defense Miami has faced up until this point. Cal's given up only 12.7 points per game, and he talks about fourth quarter or 4 quarters. That's what football is. That's what's scary is him as your head coach. Because last year against Georgia Tech, it's 4 quarters. All you got to do is do a victory formation. Last week, you put yourself in a situation where you should have been walked off the field on a final play.
Now you're going out of the state of Florida for the first time this year. You're traveling all the way out there. You just wonder emotionally where this team is and where that clock is, because that game's kicking at 10:30 Miami time.
Yeah, 10:30 body clock time. Now, they are Miami students, so I imagine they've all seen 10:30 recently. I have said all summer long, you know this is a weird game for Miami. That just where it falls on the schedule, being at Cal cross country.
Why was this not the Brown Bandits?
Because I think they got their upset, or they got their wake up call last week. If they had gone out, I guarantee I was going to go this game for Brown Bandits.
See, I think they would have been more focused in a loss.
Oh. No. I think in their mind, they lost that game. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I got you.
I think they got their wake-up call. I think if they had beaten Virginia Tech 2 touchdowns last Friday night, I would have taken this game in a heartbeat. I think they got a little bit of a wake-up call. I still think it's a weird game for them, but I don't think Miami loses it.
If I told you Jaden Ott had 147 rushing yards,
they win the game.
47 receiving yards.
They win the
game.
Yeah. I mean, Cal's defense is good enough. You know, Mendoza, and I don't know how much of the Cal-Florida State game you guys watched. And I know
too much of it.
Yeah, I know that Justin Wilcox is kicking himself the way they lost that game. But Mendoza, he was off, but he still went 300-plus against that Florida State defense. So I think Mendoza against Miami's defense can have a 300-plus game. And if Ott comes in and goes for close to $150, I think Miami's got their hands full.
Now, some of this is the Auburn factor, but a little-known fact is their defense, they lead the nation in interceptions. They've gotten 10 picks this year. Now, four of them came in Auburn, right?
Yeah, and they had one wiped off the board with a bad pass interference call. Could have had 5.
We finally saw Cam Ward turn it over last week against Virginia Tech.
Interesting game to watch late night there. Hopefully it turns out to be a good one, Miami and Cal. That little breakdown of what's happening in the top 10 brought to you by our friends at Lanius Furniture. A chance to get up the road and have great savings in the insurance world. Our friends at Lanius right there, LT.
Yeah, friends at Lanius want to remind you it's all about great inventory. It's all about pricing, and they've got the best of both worlds at Lanius Furniture. Make sure you stop in and see the fine folks up there. The short drive from Birmingham, just right there, you take the exit 280 off of I-65, Hallmark Farms exit, goes south on U.S. Highway 31 for 1.3 miles. Lanius will be right there on your right. Our friends at Lanius Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Lanius offers great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, entertainment, man room, great selection of mattresses as well. Get in, see Reggie, John. Make sure you tell them the guys from the Next Round sent you.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at jimdunaway.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemphill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the Next Round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemphill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemphill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemphill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short-notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Back with you on The Next Round for the trash segment, which gets going in just a second. But of 55 straight days of football, that means our buddy Greg from Pell City will have something to do at night when he gets off of your roof. It starts tonight, 55 straight days of football. He can be out on your roof, very quickly. All you have to do to call and get a free no-cost roof inspection is call Greg Nelson and Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531, 542-3531. Maybe you don't need Greg right now. Maybe it's later into the wintertime or next spring or summer, but he does storm repairs. That free no-cost roof inspection is so important because one windstorm, thunderstorm that has happened over the summer, you may not know this, it may have loosened just one shingle. And it only takes one shingle to cause a water entry point. He gives you a free no-cost roof inspection. He does normal roof replacements, anything on the roof, he does it for you. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau and perfect with insurance companies. He's Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook there. All right, football tonight, NFL, and the college game, and then we get going to another big weekend. The Friday night slate is really good again. Coming up on Friday night, maybe not as good as the last 2 weekends, but still a couple of interesting Friday night games, including that Michigan State-Oregon game on Maine Fox late night.
Yeah, I think the most impactful for the college football playoff will be Syracuse UNLV.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see if UNLV can get back-to-back quarterback play out of the new guy like they got last week against Fresno, who's did terrific against Fresno.
To your point, UNLV loss likely knocks them out, even though it's against a Power 5 from being the Group of 5 team, and Boise State probably slides in as the likely team in that slot right then.
Yeah, I mean, look, you could lose this game and still win the Mountain West, go 11-1, maybe beat Boise twice.
Maybe.
It would be difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you guys rank this, but right now I would say Boise, UNLV, and James Madison would be my 3. I mean, James Madison has been dominant.
That's your three teams contending for the playoffs.
Are they still unbeaten?
Is that what you're saying?
For the Group 5, yeah.
For the Group 5.
Yeah. I think those are – I feel really good that one of those 3 will represent.
Well, James Madison, huh?
Yeah. And, I thought Texas State, who plays tonight, and they have become the forgotten team. And G.J. Kinney, I thought he would be a guy everybody was talking about. He's going to get a big-time job. And Texas State now is sitting at 2-2.
Yeah, it's the AP voters actually agree with LT. Boise State is 21st. UNLV is tied for 25th. And in the voting, James Madison is next as far as the Group of 5. 30th in the AP voting. So
all offseason, everybody was talking about Liberty going undefeated and not getting this. And so far, they're 4-0. I mean, they are 4 games into undefeated.
I just don't think there's any respect for that schedule.
But Jamie Chadwell's done a nice job, though, to keep it going.
Not on the radar. Getting 0 votes from AP voters. Always a big thumbs up vote right at this time of the day is trash. It's brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Mortgage Right, with the rates coming down, home buying going up, you need the professionals. Hit the big button. Tyler and LT will tell you about them.
After the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But he's gay. He's blind.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
And we are proud to partner with the mortgage experts, which are our friends at Mortgage Right. Mortgages done right. 205-900-7200, mortgageright.com/TNR for more information. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. Tennessee police arrested a man named Tupac Shakur.
Oh, no. I thought he was not with us.
He is not with us. Not to be confused by the rap icon.
Right.
And booked him on a drug and assault charge. Police in Johnson City, about 100 miles northeast of Knoxville, looking to take this Tupac into custody on various arrest warrants. Officers found their suspect sitting in a car. He didn't willingly surrender, according to authorities.
I love that this
guy
guy
had a gun on his throat.
Tyler, you're pulling our leg here, buddy. Come on.
This guy's named Tupac Shakur, Tyler.
Yes, but the article says it's unknown if he was born Tupac Shakur
I'm betting no.
or if he changed his name later
Well,
in
I
life
don't know.
to
You
Tupac
guys tell me.
Shakur.
So the late, great Tupac died in 96, so he's dead 28 years. This guy's older than 28, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's been a really rough life, I'm going to say he's older than 28. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I bet on full-out meth, this could be a 28-year-old.
Could be.
It could be a 21-year-old.
Looks like a 56-year-old. He's had his ear pierced, 11 times on that right ear.
Although I saw a picture of Stetson Bennett this morning wearing Alabama gear, paying off a bet. He looks 45. That guy has aged in the last few years.
He's had a rough couple of years.
I know.
I bet this guy has never experienced any California love.
You don't think so?
No.
Mr. Shakur, quote, attempted to turn towards officers with a knife in his hand before being taken to the ground after a brief struggle. Tupac was placed in custody. Tupac in possession of a syringe, multiple bags of meth.
If you go to prison with that name, it's not going to go well.
I think I would legally change my name before I went to prison. That would be like probably priority number one for counsel.
Yeah. Be like, can you just go in as John Smith?
So a man who for some reason smashed up a guitar with a hammer in Texas may have thought it had been signed by Taylor Swift, but it actually wasn't. In fact, an official Swift-certified guitar. Now, in a video that has gone viral, the unidentified man seen taking a small hammer to the guitar after he allegedly bought it at a charity auction for $4,000. Now, a post on Twitter with the clip showing the guitar's destruction has been viewed more than 22 million times since it was shared on Sunday evening.
So why is he destroying it?
Oh, because
he doesn't like Taylor Swift?
Because Donald Trump said, I hate Taylor Swift.
Oh.
And this is what happens in America now.
So that was a $4,000. Was it really a $4,000 guitar? Or is this a whole
He
ruse?
paid $4,000 for it.
Now, contrary to media reports, guitar was the man destroyed had not been signed by Swift. It was not a certified official guitar used by the singer. A source close to her merch company confirmed to Variety, the organization that held the auction, the Ellis County Wild Game Dinner, presented the guitar with a signed CD insert, but the guitar itself was not signed. So let me ask you this. Do you think it would have been a good idea Trump was in Tuscaloosa if he would have been the game day picker and then you let Kamala be the game day picker in Berkeley?
Yes, you could have done that. And you
really
did you put their record up all season long? Yeah.
I mean, I would have hated it for Reese because no way he makes the kick time on time because it's bad enough as it is. He has to rush through the picks as it is.
Oh, yeah, with them both campaigning while they're picking.
I think it would have been funny to set it up like that.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with you and just see which one picks games better.
Yeah.
Like at one point back in our radio days, we had a Republican nominee for governor for the state of Alabama, and the Democrat that was going to run have both agreed to come on every Friday and pick games. I don't know if it's going to be a good idea or a bad idea, but they had agreed to do it. But that Republican nominee didn't get the nomination, or he was running for the Republican nomination, didn't get it, and the one that got it had no interest. But we were going to let them pick a game head-to-head right up until the election. Could have been a bad idea. I don't know, but it was an idea we had, and the Democrat nominee and the presumptive, or the guy running for the Republican nominee were on board with it.
Was one of them very tall?
No. I don't think he's ever run for governor. Kay Ivey was the one that got the Republican nominee, and her people were like, nope, Governor Ivey has no interest in that. So, okay.
I know I've talked to you guys about cyber attacks. Tyler, is this something you fear, the cyber attack?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's
too easy for everything.
It's eventually going to happen.
Rely on to just go down.
We're going to go off the grid one day. Hopefully, it won't be too long. But how about this? A Bank of America outage has resulted in some accounts showing zero account balance, $0. Now, the outage started around 9:30 a.m. Pacific time on Wednesday, according to Down Detector. 45 minutes later, it had logged over 20,000 user complaints. Numerous Bank of America customers have since posted screenshots of empty balances. Now, one wrote on Twitter, all of my accounts suddenly show zero. 5 accounts show zero balance. They were over $20,000, been on hold for 30 minutes, and they removed the chat function, another user on Down Detector wrote. Now, the outage seems to have also brought in Zelle, the digital payment network that Bank of America owns with other banks. Quote, I tried to do a Zelle payment and said insufficient funds. One user wrote this on Reddit. Others report the Bank of America site issuing a warning saying it's unable to retrieve the user's balances. I mean, how big of a panic would that be if you literally were completely locked out and everything that you've worked for was gone?
And you don't know if it's actually gone or if this is just an error by the bank.
The real kicker is on that screenshot there, the second account is a business account.
Yeah, it probably has a lot of money in it on a normal day.
Yeah. And probably has a lot of money going out regularly.
Yeah. No. It's easily where next major attack could happen is the shutdown of the internet. The banking systems, everything's. I mean, we have water systems, we have electricity, we have airlines.
I can open my garage door,
controlled by computers.
Yeah. What if I can't open my garage door remotely? How
Run through it.
Hopefully, you'll walk through your front door.
Yeah. I don't even
park
have a key.
outside.
I don't even have a key.
Yeah. Got your code to punch in.
Men in Black director Barry Sonnenfeld appeared on the Let's Talk Off Camera with Kelly Ripa podcast and revealed the set of the 1997 action comedy once had to be evacuated for 3 hours because Will Smith farted.
That bad?
Now, Smith starred opposite Tommy Lee Jones in Men in Black, which grossed $584 million worldwide to become the third highest grossing movie of 1997. Combined with the blockbuster success of Independence Day, the movie turned Smith into a global superstar. According to Sonnenfeld, the incident occurred during the scene in which Smith and Jones are in a transforming car that travels at hyper speeds and flips over. In order to film the sequence, 2 actors had to be sealed in a pod that was being used for the car. Sonnenfeld went on to say, quote, there are locks to prevent it from opening and falling. I say roll camera, and I hear Will Smith go, oh, Jesus, so sorry, Tommy. So sorry, get the ladder. And you hear Tommy saying, that's fine, Will. No worries, Will. Don't worry, Will. Anyway, I don't know what's going on, right? So we race the ladder over. Tommy reaches his leg out of the ladder. He's coming over, races down the stairs. And what happened was Will Smith is a farter, the director continued. It just, some people are, and you really don't want to be inside of a very small sealed space with a Will Smith fart. He concluded we had to evacuate the stage for about 3 hours. That's incredible. He's a lovely guy, but he just farts.
My gosh, what's his diet like? 3 hours? We had former coworkers that sometimes you'd go to the bathroom in a break and you could turn the corner heading to the bathroom and you could go ahead and smell it. And I'm like, I'm just going to hold it.
Yep.
Somebody's in there.
Or run down to the next level.
Yeah, somebody's in there giving birth right now. I ain't going to fight that.
It was bad. That is 4 Downs today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, look.
Trash, brought to you by Mortgage Right.
Any mortgage advice you need, absolutely free. Call them today, 205-900-7200. Whether you're looking for your first home or your final home, whether you need a big down payment or 100% financing, our friends at Mortgage Right, they can help. For more information, mortgageright.com.
Kalen DeBoer last night on Hey Coach. Had to be a pretty good reception there at Baumhauer's to roll out after that win over the Georgia Bulldogs. He gets a chance to answer a question from Phoenix City. Listen in about coming off the big win against Georgia, how Kalen DeBoer attacks his trip to Nashville.
Yeah, I think that's always the I don't want to say trick, but that's the key, right? Is understanding that it's only 4 games into the season, and if you win this one, but you go drop another one, the win doesn't mean as much. I think it starts with having been through that quite a bit, where you won big games. I think it starts with enjoying the win, but also just being able to not have too much of a heightened celebration to where your energy and your emotion doesn't carry over into the next week. And so I think our guys did a really good job, even in the locker room. Just they were probably drained as much as anything, but they were very just excited. But it wasn't this big blowout celebration maybe that have been a part of sometimes when you have, really big wins. And knowing full well that, we expect to win those games, and that's just part of what we're going to do here at Alabama, and that there's more to come.
First off, has he lost a lot of weight since we first met him?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
I thought so maybe in the summer, but I don't know now. This next guy hasn't. Went straight to Heupel. It's such good.
I think Alabama fans are really going to. It's such an extreme in styles, but I think Alabama, and it's still kind of weird, but I think Alabama fans are really going to fall in love with this dude.
I was not at the game. I was on TV. I watched it on TV, and I tried to notice it on TV, but you couldn't really tell. I've had people at the game tell me when DeBoer lost his mind after that no call on the pass interference, which was a terrible missed call by the officials, that the crowd, they showed the replay, I think, on the screens there at Bryant-Denny, and the crowd cheered him going crazy like that. They just wanted to see that out of him because he is such a mild-mannered guy most of the time. You're crazy to think this guy doesn't have an insane competitive streak to him. You don't win as many games as he has without that.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't show it in the same way that Nick Saban did. And I had heard, I don't know if it's true, but I heard the crowd, it wasn't by far the loudest cheer of the night, but when they showed that replay of him going nuts, the crowd went crazy.
Emily Grace had a great shot on our social media, and this is it right here, of him going up and down the sidelines, throwing the headset and all of that. And as we sent out on social media, if you didn't think he had this side of him in him, you were wrong.
You guys heard Roman Harper earlier talk about three things that he thinks could be problematic for Alabama. And one of them was not consistently running the football with the running backs. And I go back to Kalen DeBoer playing for a national championship. Michael Penix got all the credit and those great receivers, but Dylan Johnson was a over 1,000-yard rusher, and he kept that offense balanced. Have you guys noticed that this is a problem? Like Justice and Jam are both averaging 8 yards per carry. They're just not getting a lot of touches, but it really hadn't mattered, right?
But Alabama is third in the conference, 221 a game. I mean, they're not struggling yardage-wise. And that's not what Roman was saying.
And that's because of Milroe.
Yeah, Roman was saying outside of Milroe, they don't have the traditional run game they need. I think you'll see more of that at Vanderbilt because
I do too.
I think what Alabama has to do is pick their spots where the game plan will not call for Milroe to run as much as he did against Georgia. They knew they had an obvious advantage there with him running against Georgia. That's why he was going to run a lot early.
Yeah, you don't want to bottle him up, but it's almost if I'm Sheridan and DeBoer, I'm like, hey, look, these next two games, let's try to avoid running if you can.
Yeah, and Vanderbilt is 12th in the league. They give up 122 a game. So that would be a good team to get right running the football. It's a good spot for Alabama, I think. I think you won a road game after what they did Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the next two games for Tennessee and Alabama. We should get to that Tennessee and Alabama game with both teams unbeaten. The Vols are focused on Arkansas first, and then they get a game with Florida. It used to be a rivalry game. For you kids out there, it used to be the biggest game in the country in the 90s when Florida and Tennessee played each other. Tennessee should be able to make it to that game. Alabama's got Vandy in South Carolina. Should be able to make it to that game, both unbeaten. That's a pretty good setup schedule-wise, as you said yesterday.
So, like, what would you guys think would be a good average of touches out of the backfield for Justice and Jam?
Whatever it dictates in the game.
Yeah.
Like I think,
because what do you think they're averaging through 4 games combined?
Combined together,
carries.
Touches per game.
Yeah.
I would say right now it's about 10.
That's low.
You mean 10 apiece or 10 combined?
No, I had 10 combined.
It's 15.
Yeah,
a little less.
Had them about 7 and 3. Yeah.
I mean, they're not getting a lot right now. But
that's
again,
runs. That's not counting passes.
Yeah,
right?
that's just runs.
But I think it would surprise people. Jalen Milroe and Jam Miller have the exact same rush yardage.
Yeah,
they've actually run for the same amount of yards.
You know, I said this last year at SEC Media Days in Nashville. I was like, if Jaden Daniels is the leading rusher again for LSU, that could be a problem. He goes on and wins the Heisman. It wasn't a problem. Do you guys think at the end of the year, if Jalen Milroe is your leading rusher at Alabama, they've got multiple losses?
I do not.
Is it a problem when the Ravens do it?
No, I
no, but the Ravens always lead the NFL in rushing altogether. But no, it's not.
Yeah.
Well, once it gets to the postseason, it's become a problem.
Yeah.
I don't.
Maybe it will with Alabama too.
Yeah. To answer your question, no, I don't think that necessarily means Alabama has 2 losses, because Milroe is so fast, he can turn a busted play into a 75-yard touchdown run in a heartbeat.
And with how physical he is, you don't worry about the injuries as much. Look, injuries can happen to anyone, but Jaden Daniels was one of those guys, when you look at the slight build, you were like, man, he is one play away from going down.
Yeah, it is what Georgia did to Alabama in the second half. If you can't establish a run with Justice and Jam, then you start to be concerned. If you can't run it with those guys, you can only run it with Jalen Milroe. That's where the problem is. As long as those guys can still get their yardage when they are called upon and Jalen's running it, then there's no worries with him running it that much. That's just a choice in how the options worked out on the field. Not concerned about it yet. Got concerned in the second half because I think a lot of folks wanted to see Alabama run the clock, and the best way to run the clock would have been Jam and Justice up the middle or off tackles, and your offensive line just pushing them around. That's not what we saw. Hemphill bringing you the final thoughts today. Tell us about Hemphill. That temperature, unseasonably warm. I mean, it's still warmer than expected this time of year as we go back to 86 today, but that cool air is coming.
Ready to hit the old fire pit. I don't know when that's going to happen on one of these weekends, but look, Trust and Birmingham's trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. 205-229-2090. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
All right, so tonight we get back to the college football and the NFL slate and one baseball. The plays are at lanceslock.com, lanceslock.com. Something pretty crazy ended yesterday, and it didn't dawn on me, but the last 5 baseball seasons had ended in the state of Texas with either the Astros, Rangers, or the COVID year where we played in Arlington. All the season, the World Series ended in Texas. Not going to happen now with the Astros out.
Yeah, with the Astros losing and getting upset by Detroit, they had been to the ALCS in 7 consecutive seasons, which is kind of the equivalent of what the Chiefs are doing right now in the NFL. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
I think that goes all the way back to 2019 because the Nationals won in Houston.
That goes back to 2018.
Yeah,
it's 5 straight years.
Yeah, okay, that's crazy to think about. Yeah. So it ended yesterday. You're right. I mean, it's not going to happen this year.
Yeah, I am right about that for sure. I will ask you this, though. With what the Astros have done, do they break up now? I mean, you got to pay Bregman. I think he's got a contract that's up. Was that the end of the Astros?
Yeah, didn't they pull Bregman? I think in the last regular season game at home, they pulled him so he could walk off the field. They didn't, not last at bat. They pulled him off the field so he could hat tip. I mean, there's your telltale, right? He's done.
Yeah, and I think I saw Altuve saying we need to pay him, but you don't know. They may ship Altuve away too. I mean, no telling. That as hated as that team was by some.
By most.
Forrester says, hate that for the Astros with a smiley face.
Nobody going to feel sorry for them.
My buddy Dirty, Coach Daniel, he's a big Houston fan, Astros fan. What a great run. We'll see if they can resaddle. That Tigers team, fun to watch though, man. The whole group, all 26 of them, $18.8 million. Not a lot of Lambo guys there. Alex Bregman tweets out, thank you, Houston. That pretty much says it all, Forrester.
I'd say.
That does it for the show today. Football tonight. We're back with you tomorrow. The Pick 3 is up and going thanks to our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. You can go there right now, nextroundlive.com, and start playing the games. Over 90 of you won last week, got a ball in the bucket. Congratulations. Nextroundlive.com. It is up. It's running for week number 6 right now. Until next time, God bless you. God bless America.